Hey, you fucking freaks. What's happening? I should probably tweet. I fucked up. I forgot to tweet this. So I'll tweet while I'm doing it.
I like how you do that. I like how you're... Man, we got to get better shit at my podcast.
What do you mean?
You guys got the screens. Anything that you're talking about, Jamie's really quick, man. He's on it. Like, anything that you're talking about, he's already got some visuals and some cutaways. That's huge.
It is
to be that quick. God damn, that's some serious production value right there.
Thank you.
It's important to have if you want to talk some shit.
I don't have that. That's what sucks. I do not.
We can hook you up.
Yeah. You know what? I need to step it up.
We'll talk after the show. We'll figure out how to do it.
You got all the good cameras and shit. You went from the you guys, like, right now we're at the webcam cameras. You know, they're $90 each.
Right.
iCam or something like that. That's what all the low budget podcasts. Like when I do.
That's what we had in the beginning. Remember?
Yes, but look what you got now. Shit.
They're just cameras, man.
But those are like $400, $500 each.
They're probably something like that. Yeah.
Look at you.
They're not cheap.
Yeah.
Well, the setup
Dude, it looks
sort of
cool
came
too.
alive.
It looks cool. And now, wait a minute. Are you? This is what my suggestion. Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, my suggestion. I think it'd be cool. You should start. Not just getting one shot of Joe. Have like 4 camera shots.
All right, this is not something to talk about. This is gross.
Wouldn't it be cool?
No, you need more on my face, bro. There's only one angle. Angles. You got one angle of me. People are tired of looking at that angle. We're gonna mix it up. Yeah. And I want a makeup lady. I did a podcast recently and they had a makeup person. I'm not joking. They had cameras and they had a makeup person. I said, I don't even wear makeup for work. For TV, I don't wear makeup. Like, what? You can't put makeup on me. They're like, we're just going to put some anti-shine. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Are you crazy for a podcast? You out of your mind?
But that's production value.
That's what they do. Well, they're doing a television show.
You add a fucking plate of carrots and celery, shit. You add that, then like slowly you're creeping to the television status.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they were trying to do. This podcast, they were broadcasting.
Little granola bars, the cheap ones, man. Nature's Made granola, apple and oats. Like that's the worst one ever.
We have this new sponsor. We have these things around all the time.
Oh shit!
You haven't seen it? Nature Box is this our new sponsor. That's they send you healthy snacks through the mail. Nature Box. There was a bunch of people that were complaining on my website. They're like, that shit's not healthy. It's pretzels. The deal with Nature Box is you can go from better for you than your standard vending food. Like, you're dealing with, if you're, standard vending food, what you don't have to deal with Nature Box is no high fructose corn syrup, no partially hydrogenated oils, no trans fats, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors. Like, just that alone, just that statement alone. To me, that gives me ease. I feel better about whatever fucking snack I'm eating. And they also, if you have, like, any dietary needs, like gluten-free. Like, I try to eat gluten-free as much as possible, so they send me a bunch of gluten-free shit. They can do low-sugar shit. Not shit, I'm saying shit. It's really good shit. It's good stuff. Big Island pineapples, delicious. And there's this blueberry almonds they have. Oh, my God, they're so good. And you can get, like stuff like that, very healthy. Not bad for you at all. It's when you get, into the pretzel area. What are you dealing with, man? You're dealing with dough. Dough is never really healthy, but it's yummy as fuck, and they have an awesome selection, over 100 snacks to choose from. And like I said, if you have certain dietary needs, they can hook it up. We enjoy it, we eat it here in the podcast, and we want you to enjoy it as well. So go to naturebox.com/Rogan. That's naturebox.com/Rogan, and you can save 50% off your first box. I love the fact that people, podcast listeners, get fucking upset by shit. Pretzels are not fucking, that's not healthy. I like it. I like it. I do. I mean, it's a little picky, but I get it. It's good. It's good to be picky like that.
Healthy snacks. What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. They also have this pistachio thing. I forget what it's called, like a pistachio cluster. God damn, it's yummy. Anyway, naturebox.com/Rogan. You will get 50% off your first box. naturebox.com/Rogan. And free shipping anywhere in the U.S. We are also brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is one of my favorite experiences on the web, as far as, like, if you wanted to create something and use a website that makes something easier. There's a lot of different websites that give you nice self-help services, and there's all sorts of different websites that can help you with all sorts of things. But for the longest time, making a website was fucking hard as shit. I used to have my friend Andrew made a lot of my websites. He's just a really clever guy who knew a lot about HTML and knew how to code Flash, and he used to make a badass website. But I could never do what he did on my own. But now you can. You literally can. Anyone. You could go on Squarespace and make the dopest website. Actually, Eddie, you should probably do something like this because you would be really good at that. You'd be really good at designing. You're a creative guy. You'd be really good at designing your own shit. And Squarespace makes it super easy. It's just drag and drop. You can make websites that seem like massively professional, and you can do it all yourself. We had a Squarespace contest where we let listeners create their own websites, and it was really not even fair because we only had to pick like 4 or something like that. It was ridiculous. There were so many good ones. It's incredible what you can do now. You can make a dope website.
Easy. And it's
so easy. Easy, and on top of that, you can make a store. Easy. You can set up an online store like that. Brian has done them while the show has been going on. He set up a website and a store in the time that it takes to do the commercial. Like, he'll just start selling goofy shit, like fake goofy shit.
That's
incredible. He sets it up. It's insane. It's insane. It's literally insane.
Huh.
It's better than anything I've ever seen before as far as like constructing a website.
Whoa.
And the guys who do it, they're cool as fuck too. I met them in New York.
So you don't need it doesn't need to be super complex no more.
No, you don't have to like go to a website company. I mean, I have a website company that designed mine, and they're great, and I love them, and they make my t-shirts and shit too. Uprising Creative. They're really cool guys and gals, women. They're very cool people. So I like giving them money. They're badass. You know, I'm happy. But if I was going to start my own website right now, if I didn't have a website, absolutely I would use Squarespace. 100%.
Does it have a forum too?
That's a good question. They have 24/7 support. They live chat and email. And they also have a logo creator, which is pretty dope. You can create a clean, simple logo in minutes. Which is really interesting. You know, when you're talking about starting up a company, like on it, you know, we have a logo. Caveman Coffee has a logo. You know, logos. If you could put together a logo, it's like, you know, your shit looks more professional than just text.
Well, that's the secret, man, is to get that logo ingrained in everyone's brain. Everyone's trying to, they're trying to, that's why you can't change up your logo. You got to pick a logo, you stick with it, because if you keep changing it, that fucks up the brainwash process.
Didn't Hicks and Gracie catch some heat from Nike that Nike wanted that swish out of his awesome triangle?
I heard something about that.
I wish I'd asked him. I saw him this weekend. That dude still looks great. He's in his 50s, look healthy as fuck. Looks great. Hicks and motherfucking Gracie. Anyway, go to squarespace.com, enter the code Joe, and get for the free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Another thing I like about Squarespace, they let you sign up, do everything, create a website, and then enter in your credit card information. That's how confident they are of it. They let you try it first. They're like, try it. You're going to love it. And you try it and you go, holy shit, that's a website? Boom. And you're going to want to give them your money. Trust me. It's a good deal. Anyway, squarespace.com and enter in the code Joe. Squarespace. A better web starts with your website. I don't know why they have that in there. That seems ridiculous. A better web starts with your website? How about just make cool shit here? That's probably better, right? On.com.
Those alpha brains are starting to take over. So there's like 30 seconds of reorganizing my neurons. Does that make sense? Can you say that?
I don't know if that's an actual event.
Okay.
We're also brought to you by Onnit.com. ONNIT. We got a lot of big things that I'm talking to Eji Bra about Onnit that I'll be discussing in the future. We got some big moves. What we're trying to do with Onnit is we're trying to put together a company that what we call the design is a human optimization website. And what we mean by that is we want to provide you access to everything that we find that's beneficial, whether it's anything that's beneficial for cognitive thinking, like Alpha Brain, if it's for your mood, which like New Mood, which is a 5-HTP and L-tryptophan supplement that actually helps your brain produce more serotonin. whether it's things like kettlebells or battle ropes or hemp powder, hemp protein powder, the best hemp protein powder we can find in Hemp Force. We just try to find the very best shit available. That's our motto. Our motto is, what would we want to buy? When it comes to human optimization, what kind of shit would we want to buy? And so we even hired artists to make dope exercise equipment like these Primal Bells. This cool, this guy, Steven Shubin Jr., is a really cool artist, and his work that he did on the zombie bells and the primate bells. Pull those images up, Jamie. The primal bells are all the great apes, and the zombie bells are all like, you know, if you wanted to freak yourself out that you were getting in shape for the apocalypse, what better way to do it than to sling around a giant iron zombie head or a giant fucking gorilla head? They're awesome. I love these things. They make working out fun. And I know people that have them in their house. They don't even use them as exercise equipment. They just think they're cool. They leave them as door stoppers and shit. Anyway, go to onnit.com, O-N-N-I-T. Use the code word Rogan and save 10% off any and all supplements. This Thursday night, I am in Miami, bitch. I'm going to be at the Fillmore, the Jackie Gleason Theater at the Fillmore. And I'm with the great Tony Hinchcliffe. So I'm looking forward to that Thursday, Miami people. It should be it's part of the South Beach Comedy Festival. It should be really fun. And thanks everybody that came out this weekend as well to the Comedy Magic Club. And I'm going to definitely start doing more of those. I'll be doing those on a regular basis now that Jay Leno's not doing the Tonight Show anymore. That used to be his spot, the Sunday spot, so they're giving him to a bunch of different comics. So I love that place, and I'll be there on a regular basis, as well as the Ice House. Boom, shalak, lock, boom. And without that, no further ado, boom, hit the music, young Jamie.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
All right, where to even begin with this one?
You think it'd be cool to watch the fight, and instead of thinking of talking about different pieces of it, because there's so many different aspects to it, you think it'd be cool for the viewer if we watch it and I just tell you what I'm saying to him and how
Sure,
I'm
but are we allowed to do that? Like Metamorph, are they paying people to do people have to pay to watch replays?
It's on YouTube.
We probably should ask, though, before we do something like that.
He would love it, dude. Are you kidding me?
Well, let's ask him on the air.
Are you kidding me?
Let's ask him on the air. I hope I can actually call him.
I think it'd be cool.
The signal in this place is kind of sketch. Just to give people background, what are we talking about here? Okay, Eddie Bravo, one of my favorite human beings to ever walk the earth, my brother, who I've known. We became best friends like almost instantly. We started hanging out together in the late 90s. Was it like late 90s? Like yes. 2000, somewhere like close to 2000?
I knew you from John Jacques in like 97. You were the guy who was an actor who was on a TV show. You were doing news radio. But I'd never seen news radio. But, that's that one actor, dude. And you were taking privates, and you didn't do that many group classes at first. You thought you were doing the dope shit. The group classes are for the peasants. The privates that's where you get the real shit. That's what you were thinking.
Well, I thought I was going to learn quicker. I don't want to talk bad about that dude. You know, he was a really good guy that was teaching me. I really like him. But it doesn't, you have to roll with a bunch of other people. It's just a fact. You know, whenever I hear someone tell me I'm going to take private lessons, I'm going to do some jiu-jitsu, take private lessons, like, well, you could definitely learn more than the average person. But if you want to really learn jiu-jitsu, you got to get dirty. You got to get in there. And I didn't figure that out. I didn't figure that out until I started rolling with you. So I started hanging out with you. Let's call Halleck right now. But the guy was a good guy. He just... We got a story for you, ladies and gentlemen. There's a backstory to this podcast.
No, I think he's mad at me, man. I haven't heard from him.
I doubt it.
Yeah, he's mad at me.
Don't say that. You're putting it out there. You're jinxing.
I don't know. I'm like...
Hello.
Halleck, it's Joe Rogan. Hey, before you say anything, we're on the air right now. We're live. I wanted to know what your feelings were out of respect when it comes to YouTube, the videos being up on YouTube. Are you trying to pull those down? Because we were gonna play one and talk about it, but only with your permission. Because I didn't know if you were pulling those down off the internet.
Yeah, man. You know what? If if you really could go to metamorphs.com and go to the live stream, and I'll give you my login.
Okay.
You can use it, and you can scroll through the whole fight on there if you want to do that. Now.
All right. Remember, we're on live, so don't give out any information right now. Don't get crazy.
Okay.
So we can play it though on the podcast, and we can talk about it over it.
Yes, we can.
Beautiful.
And man, if you want to use the one on YouTube, just say, hey, Holly basically, gave us this one-time permission, but ultimately we want to, we want to avoid this, and man, we're doing what we can to work with YouTube, but of course that's a long process.
Yeah. Well, that's a great attitude too. I mean, let them know, like, people, this is a really awesome event you put on, and people should support an event like that just with their own ethics, regardless of whether it's available for free. That's my feeling. Is Metamorphs is an awesome thing for jiu-jitsu, and we should all support it.
Even if you're going to watch it on YouTube, go buy it on our website just to support if you really care about what we're doing.
Beautiful.
If you don't care about what we're doing, you're just going to stream it, then you don't really care.
That's a beautiful attitude. I agree 1,000%. That's not even a real number, right? You can only get to 100. Hey, listen, man, I just want to tell you, whatever you need, man, if you want to have me promote the next ones, I'm totally down. That was an awesome event. You had some really high-class matchups with really great jiu-jitsu talent. It was a pleasure to watch, man. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to support you in any way with this, because I just think it's an awesome thing you're doing.
I appreciate it, man, and I know you don't. I know you don't normally take inquiries, but I would love to be on the podcast.
Let's do it.
Just as an experience, because I'm a big fan. So.
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, I'm live. I'm gonna go. So we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
All right, take care, my friend. Hey, I'm out of you, dude.
I don't know. I haven't heard from him, so I thought
he's probably busy. Maybe his uncle's probably upset at you.
Well, I know Hoist is mad at me.
Let's
so
explain what happened.
I'm thinking maybe Halleck's mad at me too.
This is what's going on. This for people who don't know. Eddie Bravo is famous for one very particular upset a long time ago when in 2003 we went down to Brazil. And Eddie was competing in the Abu Dhabi World Submission Championships, which is the biggest event in no-gi grappling. It's a huge, huge event. And this is the event that gave birth to legends like Marcelo Garcia, where people got to see him perform for the first time. And I mean, there's so much high-level matchups. Recently, Crone Gracie, who we had on the podcast, had his huge victory in Abu Dhabi. Eddie went down there, and Royler Gracie is maybe one of the most decorated Gracies ever when it comes to competition. I think probably the most, right up next to Hodger, right?
Yeah, they're the top two.
I mean, Royler is a legend, a true
multiple
legend.
gi championships, world championships, and multiple Abu Dhabi no gi championships. He won it 3 times in a row. No one's ever scored a point on him. The guy is about as good as you can get for that 45 division.
His dad is Helio Gracie. His dad was literally the founder of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, along with Carlos Gracie. I mean, what his dad did was nothing short of, like, for when you put into perspective the history of martial arts, and different people like Bruce Lee obviously plays a huge part in making martial arts exciting, getting people into martial arts. Chuck Norris also, huge part. Jean-Claude Van Damme, a very big part. That gets people into the schools in the first place. But when you talk about a person who's like maybe the single most important person in all of martial arts, it might be Helio Gracie. I mean, he might be the most important person ever. A small man who used leverage and beautiful technique to submit people, took on all comers, weighed 140 pounds, and he was fighting these giant dudes. I mean, it's an amazing family. The whole family is just, what a crazy movie-type family. I mean, you think about it like a family that wouldn't even exist in the real world. How about a family where one bad motherfucker, this one jiu-jitsu genius, Helio Gracie, has a bunch of sons, and they all turn out to be bad motherfuckers. I mean, what other guy has had, like, produced 20 killers, 30 killers in his own brood?
Well, it's if you get into the story with Carlos Gracie, his older brother, he's the one who actually learned jiu-jitsu and showed it to
Helio.
And they both fought and stuff, but towards the end, as they got older, Carlos fought less and managed Helio more, because Helio became the beast, and Helio's the one who refined and tweaked the system and made it what it is today, technically. But without Carlos learning it, Helio would have never learned jiu-jitsu. So it was really...
They were both very important.
Helio designed it and polished it and tweaked it, but Carlos is the one that showed him the raw techniques from what he learned from Maeda, I think his name is.
Yes, yes. I mean, and I don't even... when we're saying this, there's no disrespect.
That's
ever.
a movie. How come they haven't made a fucking big blockbuster James Cameron movie about the Gracies? Come on.
Who would play Hickson?
But you know what? Jiu-jitsu guys would be so disappointed because in an hour and a half, they'd have to just gloss over shit and like the real story is way more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would. Can you imagine in an hour and a half you explain the whole Gracie story with all the brothers and Carlson and Helson and all their different stories and Half and Hyen and that's dude, they would have to have like the Hyen edge would be like 10 minutes of the movie. That's it. They'd have to Hyen would
for folks who don't know, Hyen was like the crazy Gracie. He used to call him Gracie Devil.
Yeah.
He was like one of the wildest guys. He fought in Pride as well. A lot of them fought in Pride. Of course, Henzo fought in Pride. Yeah. I mean, there's so many great people, great martial artists that came out of that family.
Yeah. Hyen, Henzo, and Half were all brothers, and they were like the Tasmanian devils. But Henzo was probably the most friendly, I think. Hyen and Half were just ready to throw down at any time with anybody. They were the true pit bulls. And Henzo was a pit bull too. And according to the Machados and their stories, Henzo was always the one laughing and joking, and everyone loved him, but he was always in the middle of a fight. Someone would want to fight him, and there'd be a riot. And Henzo is like a super happy-go-lucky guy, but he has a side to him that he could turn it on. And
well, you remember when he live tweeted beating up those muggers?
Yeah,
dude, Henzo, what a bad motherfucker Henzo Gracie is, and he thanked the mayor for not allowing guns, so you don't not for worry about my gun, you know. And he went out and these guys apparently they were following him and they were thinking about mugging him. And not only did he beat these guys up, like he was live tweeting it and chasing after them.
He knew they were eyeing him for some reason. He knew he was being targeted, and like they were targeting Henzo Gracie. Oh, fuck!
What a huge
that would have to be
mistake.
In the movie somehow. They would have to squeeze that. That would be like lost scenes. You know what I mean? That didn't quite make the story. They couldn't make it fit. But that's a modern day Gracie story because you hear about all these old Gracie Dojo Storm stories, and there's all these legendary stories. But
he tweeted pictures of his hands.
Yeah, this is modern day old school Gracie stories, right?
Yeah, and it's only what is it, a year ago? What year was it?
Man.
What year was it? What did it say up there?
And the crazy thing is, I was on Twitter when it was happening. I was watching it live as it was happening.
Yeah,
I was actually on Twitter while he was tweeting. These guys are following me. Check this out. And he was taking pictures. He goes, I'm gonna lure them into like some alley or to a corner.
Beat the fucking shit out of these poor guys. He took pictures of his hands all busted up and bloody.
He's probably has so many connections in NYPD. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like he knew that if he needed to beat up some muggers, that no one would ever give him any stress. He's so connected.
Well, he was also talking about it with like such glee. Like it, reminded him of growing up in Rio.
He really is like. I mean, he's in New York City. He's about as connected as you can motherfucking get. Come on.
Well,
Henzo
for sure.
Gracie.
There's a lot of cops who train jiu-jitsu. I mean, how many cops do we know?
Connected to every side of New York.
Everybody loves him.
You know?
Everybody loves
I bet he
Henzo.
knows some serious mobsters and shit, right?
I would imagine. Probably knows at least
You know
one.
what I mean? For sure. Mobsters would want to hang out with Henzo. You know what I mean? Gangsters would love to hang out with Henzo. That's a real life killer right there.
He's a great guy, too.
Yeah,
the
that's
thing
the
about
real
Henzo
deal.
is his personality is so fucking great. Like when you're around him, he's always hugging people and super friendly. Like just got a great energy to him.
Yeah.
And he's a bad motherfucker.
My favorite Gracie of all time, and I love... There's a lot of Gracies, man, that I love personally, that I know personally. There's a lot that I don't even know. I've never met... Like, I've never sat down and talked to Horion. I've never sat down and talked to Hodger. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great... Helson. I never sat down and talked to Helson. But the Gracies that I do have relationships with and did have time to talk and get to know is my favorite all time is Rose Gracie. I love her to death. That is one of the sweetest, coolest chicks on the planet. And she's really, you're either come from the Helio side or the Carlos side. She's the only one, her and her sister, that come from both, because Horion, her dad, married his cousin.
Whoa!
So Helio Gracie is her grandfather. Carlos Gracie is her great-grandfather. Weird, right? Wow. So Rose Gracie is the most Gracie. She's Gracie.
She's
from
double
both.
Gracie.
She's double Gracie. Her blood it's like vampire Gracie blood. It's all, you know what I mean? There's her and her sister are so Gracie.
That's wild.
They're double Gracie, and she's the coolest one.
Wow.
To me, out of all the ones I've met, I love her. We work together, and with she runs the Gracie Nationals and the Gracie Worlds, and we work together. And man, she's awesome. I can't
That's
say.
awesome.
I love Henner. I know Henner. I know Huron. They've always been cool to me.
I want to get those guys in the podcast too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just heard that I said I would do Halleck. I would love to do him on as well.
Yeah.
But Henner and Huron have done a fucking amazing job of promoting jiu-jitsu in a technical sense by showing those Gracie breakdowns. Those are great, man.
Yeah.
Those are really fucking, they're entertaining. Henner is like really captivating. He's got like a great energy to him when he's like a natural, natural speaker, a natural instructor from all those years of teaching jiu-jitsu classes. But he's very entertaining, like his cadence and everything, but very technical in their jiu-jitsu delivery. Their passion comes through. It's very obvious. They really like what they do. And I find that infectious,
Yeah, those guys are awesome. Huron has always been cool to me. Henner always been cool. And Crone Gracie, I just got to...
Very cool.
Now I've met him and we've talked. He's so cool. He went to my after party. That's how cool... Crone Gracie went to my after party.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? And,
he's an awesome guy.
I told him, I go, aren't you going to get killed for this? Like, what are you doing here? This is like a pure 10th Planet after party. Everybody here is 10th Planet. And he's just so cool. He's just so damn cool, man. Yeah. I love that guy.
Well, there's always these inter-family feuds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird shit that goes on. Point being, here's the story. Eddie goes down there, huge underdog. Hoyler Gracie's a legend. We're talking about a legend from the most legendary family. That's one thing you say unequivocally. What is the most legendary family of martial arts? The Gracies, for sure. 100%. Yes. There's not even a close second.
Probably the most legendary family that's ever existed.
Ever.
Like, what other family is known for something like that? Like, like a big, huge family.
World champions.
Known to be experts at strangling human beings.
Not just experts, but think of the amount of champions. Royce Gracie, the very first UFC champion, who arguably changed the world's opinion instantaneously of martial arts. That one guy.
Super legend.
Royce Gracie. Then you've got Renzo Gracie, another champion. You've got Hoyler Gracie, the most decorated, him and Hodger, the most decorated champions. Hickson, who beats all of them. Yeah. Hickson, who's the best. Oh, you ask any of them, they say Hickson's the best.
How crazy is that?
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
Hickson,
what a bad motherfucker
Hickson whips Royce, Hickson whips Hoyler. He whips everybody, But even though they get whipped by Hickson, they're still legends. They're still better than most of the people walking. So it's so crazy, the different levels. That is the most legendary, for real family of all time.
Yeah, it really is.
Think about that. The family business is breaking bones and putting people to their death with their bare hands. That's the family business.
It's pretty crazy.
Who's more hardcore than the Gracies?
There's some video. It was like a demonstration that Hickson did, where Hickson and Hoyler had like a little sparring demonstration. I don't know what it was though. I don't know if it was orchestrated. It was like at one of those Japanese events, like maybe Pride.
Yeah, they were just messing around. Yeah.
They just sort of demonstrated some techniques, But the only video that I've seen of them rolling is like there's some no-gi video of them rolling. But any video that involves Hickson and his brothers ultimately leads to the brother tapping, which is insane.
Everyone gets smashed by Hickson.
That's insane when you think about that. This one guy in a family of fucking super champions, this one guy rises to the top over all of them, universally acknowledged.
And even the Brazilians that did jiu-jitsu, that there's a lot of rivalries between the Gracies, and it gets really technical, and there's certain Gracies don't like other Gracies, and that's normal in all families. That's just normal. So the fact that it's a jiu-jitsu family, that doesn't mean they're immune to what all families go through. All families have division. This aunt is not talking to that aunt. My mom is not talking to her sister. They hate each other for 3 years. Like everyone's just that's just the way families are. So they're not immune to it. So it's totally normal. But when you get into what's really going on, man. It's just.
It's insane, is what it is. It's like this one family that has created such an empire of martial arts, and in my opinion, changed martial arts forever. I think Royce Gracie and his victory in the Ultimate Fighting Championship was one of the most important moments in the history of martial arts, without a doubt, if not the most important moment. Because people got to see what really works. People got to see something in a way that you never saw before. You never saw a small man who didn't look physically imposing dismantle other people with technique.
Yeah, and even though Horion was the guy that actually made it happen physically, the whole family was involved because Horion is the one who, it was his idea. We need to put this show on in the States and prove that jiu-jitsu is the most effective martial art. We could do this, but it was because of what he saw Hickson doing, because of what he saw Hoyler doing in the dojo storm matches and Gracie in action tapes. It was because what his father Helio spread to everyone. That's what made Horion wouldn't have the drive and the vision if he didn't see what Hickson was doing on a daily basis and what his dad did and know the history of what his dad did. All that, everybody, Carlson Gracie, he was using all the Carlson Gracie fighters and the Gracie in action tapes. It was all that, all the Gracie events and all the Gracie people that were all involved, and Horion needed all that to explode the UFC. So it wasn't just Horion, it was everybody. Horion couldn't have done it alone.
Right.
So that's why there was some division. Some guys wanted to go here and say, I'm going to do this on this side, and then that people. But that's totally normal. But
well, also, there was some things opening up in other countries, too. Like Hickson started doing Japan Valley Tudo. It was around the same time. Wasn't only around 94, 95.
Everything just exploded.
Yeah.
When Royce blew it all up, all the people that were involved down the chain, Carlson and all those guys and everyone, they said, okay, we're all part of this. So then it just grew and exploded, and the Gracie, it just instantly, jiu-jitsu just spread all over the world. Instantly, everybody needed jiu-jitsu. Martial arts masters were traveling all over. They were all going into jiu-jitsu. All these American guys going into Rio. It just became like the thing to do, man, in martial arts is go to Brazil, and then we got exposed to chuscarias and acai, and all that shit's here because of jiu-jitsu.
Yep. And that's one of the things about martial arts that a lot of people don't realize is that for maybe thousands of years, it pretty much remained the same. When the Gracies came along, that was what really kick-started it to this level right now. You can say that jiu-jitsu is not the most important martial art, but historically, it's the most important martial art, unquestionably. Like that one event, where people got to see a guy like Royce dominate these bigger, stronger guys, and he wasn't a scary-looking physical. He wasn't built like Mike Tyson or anything like that. He wasn't built like Roy Jones Jr., where you look at him and you go, "Whoa, how can that guy move? That guy moves like a ghost." It wasn't that. It was just technique, So, a pretty amazing thing to watch. It's one of the things people don't realize too about Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris was ahead of the fucking curve, man. Chuck Norris, even though like a lot of people associate him with like Walker Texas Ranger and like movies and TV shows now, Chuck Norris was a legit kickboxer, like legit champion kickboxer, legit karate champion. He was a bad motherfucker, and he really was into martial arts, into training in martial arts and learning new things. And when did he start training with the Machados?
Way before the UFC.
Way before the UFC, right?
Like,
didn't he have like a
late 80s?
He had like a purple belt or a brown belt before the UFC, before the first UFC.
He was responsible somehow for the UFC getting moved along, and there were some kind of connections, because once Chuck Norris discovered jiu-jitsu, he was all over it, and he just immediately injected it into his Chuck Norris system. And anybody that's in the Chuck Norris affiliation system, they have to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's a karate association that requires you to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Chuck Norris is the man.
Yeah, I met him twice. I met him once when I was with you. We met him at some kickboxing event. Remember when we went to see that World Combat League thing?
Pete Spratt fought on that one.
Yeah, dude. That was a lot. Raymond Daniels too, I think, was on that card. A lot of great fighters. That was fun as hell. But just meeting Chuck Norris was like holy. But I didn't get a picture. I met him again recently, and I got a picture of him. That guy's he's a real deal, man. You know what he did, and he's such a humble guy too. Like all these guys, I was on this dais to this guy Jim Harrison, who's a famous karate champion as well. They were congratulating him, and Chuck Norris was like, all of his stories like involve like bad things happening to him. All of his stories involved like he panicked. He couldn't talk in front of people, so he told this hilarious story about not even remembering talking, not even remembering giving a speech because he was so terrified to speak in front of people. Like very self-deprecating. You know, was where a lot of those, you know, you get into that sort of an event and a guy looks for it as an opportunity to go in the glory days and talk about his past victories and that kind of shit. Chuck Norris did none of that. He was laughing, smiling, you know, just self-deprecating. That guy's a legit martial artist, like a real legit martial artist.
Yeah, and of course, you know, with that kind of mentality, as soon as you discover that there's a big weakness in your game, you want to fill that shit and fill it immediately. So he got it. He was into Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Then he started training with the Machados and got really tight with them and ended up getting his black belt from Carlos, I think. And that's why Carlos went to Texas and.
Yeah.
And that's who I got my black belt from, Jean-Jacques Machado, one of the great Machado brothers. There's 5 of them, Higgin, Johnny, Hodger, and Jean-Jacques, and Carlos.
And Jean-Jacques is another, I mean, the Machado family is another legendary family as well. I mean, you think Higgin, Hodger, Jean-Jacques, I mean, that family as well became legendary for like very, very high-level black belts.
Yeah, the cousins of the Gracies.
Yeah.
They were cousins.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a photo of him. Look, and Jean-Jacques is just a beautiful human being. I love that guy.
No Spartan.
He's just got such a great energy to him.
That's a great picture right there.
That is.
That's like 1993. 5 boys. 5 boys from Brazil. All badasses in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. All 5 of them. That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
You know, because when jiu-jitsu exploded, all the Gracies said, I'm going to make my own shit. And they all just made their own schools. And Henzo went to New York. And you know, Half goes to San Francisco. And they take their markets and shit. And that Horion did the Torrance thing. That was like the main Gracie place. And then all the Gracies started spreading. And some stayed in Brazil. The Machados, man, 5 boys, 5 brothers. They all came out and they just opened up a school together in Redondo Beach. And then the second one in the Valley in Tarzana. That's where I ended up going. But man, it was pretty crazy, man. To have 5 boys and they're all around the same age. Can you imagine? Pop, 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 pop. You have 5 boys, and they all look very similar, and they're all yoked.
They're all killers,
and every one of them is a badass at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable. But the Gracies got, that's just another day in the park for the Gracies. Like every family, if you're a Gracie man and you got a Gracie last name and you're not doing jiu-jitsu, what happened there? I want to document.
Are there any?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That would be a really hilarious comedy sketch, like a Tim and Eric sketch. The one Gracie who didn't want to do jiu-jitsu. This one Gracie's just into like, dance or something.
I bet that happens sometimes. I bet that, you know what, everyone in the family does jiu-jitsu, and then I want to do this, or I want to be an artist, or I want to be, and then you try that for a while, and you're like, shit, I can make some easy money just using my name in jiu-jitsu, and then you realize, fuck it. You realize what you have, and you're like, you have a great thing. Your whole family are experts at choking people and taking their arms, and you're choosing this other shit. You have this life for you right here.
Some people just want to be their own individual, though, you know?
But that is a good question. What percentage of Gracie men didn't do jiu-jitsu?
I bet 0. I'm going with 0.
Wow. That would be remarkable.
I mean, I think they raised them with it from the time they were children.
Yeah, if Gracie is your last name, you have no choice. You're going to do jiu-jitsu. That's incredible, right?
It's pretty incredible. So, 2003, we're in Brazil. Giant match. Eddie beats Gustavo Dantes, who is a very high-level jiu-jitsu black belt, and he taps him, gets his back. So I saw that you're pumped up. You know, you felt very confident. You felt good, and you were zoned in. But the idea that you were going to fight Royler Gracie seemed so crazy to me. Just knowing what I know about the Gracies, knowing what I know about the history of the family, knowing what a legendary family they are, to see you, my best friend, standing there with Royler Gracie, and you guys are about to grapple. I'm like, and we're in Brazil. I'm like, dude, this is a fucking trip.
I was starstruck.
How could you not?
I thought I was like in some watching some 3D TV or something. Feels like you're right there on the mat.
And Eddie wound up catching him in a triangle. And it was the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was like time stopped. It was like when you slapped that triangle on him, it seemed like time stopped. It didn't even seem real. And you kept jailbreaking, man, which is like was hilarious. That dexterity that you have with your legs, and you're setting up this omoplata here, and you got him in like full rubber guard here.
Yeah, that was
control
that
here.
was the beginning of the rubber guard, right?
Yeah,
there.
what you had then was the ability to control people. You just didn't have as many variations on technique to attack with, but you had this unbelievable fucking flexibility that a lot of people aren't aware of. You got some weird flexibility, and not just flexibility, but dexterity. Like in places that maybe some people can grab their leg and put it, you could put your leg there on its own.
But there's so many guys that are out there that are. It's not that weird of flexibility. It's just getting into Lotus. Like if you got into yoga and you got obsessed with it, eventually 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you'd have to be able to get into the very basic Lotus position.
There's a little more than that, fella. You're being nice.
That's what it is.
I know what you're saying, but the reality is you got some crazy legs. There's something weird about your legs. Your legs are like arms. They move in strange ways.
Right here's, if he didn't try to pass right there and if we had just stayed in my guard, I wouldn't have gotten him. This wouldn't have happened, this transition. Boom.
The
if he would have just stayed.
Transition.
Yeah, he got aggressive, and he shouldn't have got aggressive. If he would have just been conservative, I wouldn't have been able to go right here, right into the triangle. Boom. Overhook. All Jean-Jacques right there. That's all Jean-Jacques.
Yeah, you controlled that wrist and then slapped it over. And now this right here, where you had the triangle locked in, once here, like right there, I was like, holy shit. Because before, it was like one of those things where you're not breathing because it's not totally locked in. But once you had it locked behind the knee, I was looking at it, I was like, how is this guy going to survive? And he's tapping. I was like, he can't survive. Like, no one can. It's a human being. When you have a guy your size and you slap a triangle on him this tight. See, right here, I wasn't sure. Bam, there I knew. Like, once he dropped down, I was like, holy shit, that's locked in.
You were screaming, man.
Oh, my God. And we were the only one screaming because everybody else was freaking out. This Brazilian TV station had set up cameras there. They shut down the other matches so they could better light this match because Royler Gracie's a hero. And they were going to show Royler Gracie dominating the first time Abu Dhabi came to Sao Paulo. When you slapped this triangle on him, dude, all you heard was me and Jamie Walsh. Me and Jamie Walsh were yelling out, pull the head, pull the head. Oh, my God, oh, my God. It was just madness. Like, oh, shit, what? We couldn't even believe it. And then once you did pull the head and once he did tap, it was like the world froze. It was weird. It was like, didn't make sense. The world just became some new place. The world just, a totally new element opened up. Like the world became a new place. Now, all of a sudden, Eddie Bravo is a champion martial artist.
Well, I didn't win the championship.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. You just tapped Royler Gracie. Like you're capable of tapping Royler Gracie. That's championship level shit. You tapped one of the greatest guys of all time. It was a whole new world opened up.
Yeah.
It was just all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird. It was weird to watch too, man. Because when I met you, you were a purple belt. You know, you were a really good purple belt. Weird, crazy moves and shit. And then all of a sudden you were a brown belt, and you were a brown belt in Abu Dhabi, bro. That's crazy. You tapped him when you were a brown belt. So 11 long years go by. And this Saturday night, they had a rematch. Eddie and Royler had a rematch in Metamoris, and that's what we were talking to Halleck Gracie about on the phone. They're promoting these professional jiu-jitsu matches, and it's awesome. Keenan Cornelius fought Kevin Casey. Kevin Casey you got to pee? Yeah, I'll just describe the whole event. A lot of really, really high-level fighters fought. A lot of really good jiu-jitsu fighters fought. And the main event was Eddie versus Royler Gracie. And 11 years running. I mean, it's a long time in between matches. And there was so much talk, so many haters, so many believers, there's so much back and forth between You know, the people that thought that Eddie winning the first time was a fluke, and the people that legitimately thought that Eddie has a brilliant mind and a creative mind for jiu-jitsu that's really unique, and he can come up with a lot of techniques. And his like he doesn't want to admit that he's got weird dexterity in his legs, but he can move his legs in weird ways. He can wrap you up in triangles and stuff in weird ways without. A lot of people have to grab their foot and place it in places. So he has these techniques that he's developed and like really created a bunch of paths. And a lot of jiu-jitsu guys do this. This is not unique. But his paths were uniquely his in that he came up with a lot of different techniques and approaches and refined a lot of other approaches that he sort of adapted to jiu-jitsu. And the system in 2003 was really not even a tenth of what it is now. After 2003, Eddie started teaching, and then it became crazy. Then the system started growing, and new techniques were added, and there became guys like Danny Propagos, who's a world champion as a brown belt. Guys came out of there that were showing that your techniques weren't just for you and your crazy dexterity, but you had broken down things in a way that other people hadn't done before in a weird way. Your positions, you're very unique. And there was a lot of people that didn't want to accept that for whatever reason. And there was all this, oh, he got lucky, oh, fluke, oh, this. So Saturday night rolls around, and I couldn't imagine there being more anticipation in a room before something. And it was a cool anticipation, too, because one of the things I like about jiu-jitsu is no one's going to get knocked the fuck out. Even if you get choked out, there's something about like seeing a friend fight. It gets real rough. I mean, we've been friends with MMA fighters, but I've never been as friendly with an MMA fighter as I am with you. But knowing a guy and liking a guy and then watching him get head kicked, it's hard to do. So it didn't have that aspect to it, but it was all positive, is what I'm trying to say. It was all just holy shit, it's going down. And once it did, there was no points because it's a 20-minute match. So for 20 minutes, it's either submission or no points. But in that 20 minutes, you swept him on multiple occasions. You got side control. He never threatened you in any way, shape, or form. You swept him with electric chairs. You threatened him with a neck crank. And you threatened him with this nasty fucking submission move on his knee, which I don't know how he didn't tap, because that was hard to watch, man. When we were sitting there watching,
that was the move I got you on the high times.
Yes.
You know that move?
The vaporizer.
Yeah.
That move is so painful. Just that photo shoot, that shit hurt, man. Yeah. It hurts. And somehow or another, Hoyler look, he's a warrior. He didn't want to tap. He just decided he wasn't going to tap. For people who have never seen jiu-jitsu before, that was like the perfect introduction match because it was so exciting. There was so much madness, and there was a bunch of times where you were working on shit, and he rolled you over onto your back, and then you swept him again. So there's all these like seesaws. When he would roll, you'd be on your back. Oh shit, he's on his back. But you on your back is different than a lot of people on your back because that's how you tapped him in the first fight. You tapped him from your back. Your back is, your guard is crafty. So it was an incredibly thrilling match because there was constant threat at all times. And even from him, man, he's still Hoyler Gracie. You always knew, he's still that champion. If something went wrong, if you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's.
I was not sure I was going to win this fight.
How could you be sure? He's fucking Hoyler Gracie. He's Hoyler fucking Gracie.
I never said that I'm going to go out there and just strangle him. I didn't know, I hadn't competed in so long. Look right here, I'm faking like I'm going to wrestle. Because I didn't think he was just going to let me pull him into quarter guard. I thought, at this point, I'm like, wow. He didn't know. I thought he was just going to try some totally different shit, but this is what he always does. Every morning before I work out, I warm up on the Stairmaster. I go to YouTube, put Hoyler, ADCC, pick one of his matches, and that's how that gives me all the motivation. I just watch him roll, and he's so good at this. But I thought he would try to pass to the other side. And I thought this position was going to be the hardest to get. And this was the key. If I could just get quarter guard in this position, I felt like I could get him.
And there was a bunch of crazy rules in this match as well. One of the rules was that Hoyler was wearing like these skin tight shorts. Eddie was wearing gi pants. And Hoyler was allowed to grab Eddie's gi pants, but Eddie wasn't allowed to grab Hoyler's shorts. So it was weird to watch, man, because there's times where he's like giving you a wedgie and pulling on your pants. And
yeah, he's pulling them down. You could see my underwear.
yeah, and when he got to that leg lock and he was trying to defend that leg lock, I mean, you're tearing his knee apart, and he's hanging on to your cuff.
It saved him. The pants saved him.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't have the pants, I would have stomped on that foot and got the extra power. Because I mean, man, I think his knee popped at least 7 times. We were talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, we could stop this now. Are you sure? He goes, no, I'm fine. And I'm popping. I'm like, what about that? He goes, I'm fine. I'm like, it just kept popping. I'm like, damn, are you sure? Because everything's good. I said, everything's fine. Like, we're talking throughout this whole match. Like, right here, he wanted the underhook really, really bad. So I was saying, it's hard to get this time, huh? Because the first time he got the underhook,
right.
I go, a lot of
You
work.
say that too?
Yeah, I'm going, a lot of work, huh? It was a hard one. It's only because I would rather go against a guy who wasn't really mad at me.
Right.
If I could joke with you and get like this is just for fun.
Right.
Then I feel like, okay, I can get this guy now because I could win because he's not mad. But if he's mad, oh shit, like I would never want to fight like a Diego Sanchez type guy who's mad at me. I'm like, oh no. I want to fight a guy that's like friendly and shit. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I was just constantly joking with him, constantly. And during after I swept him, when I get on top in the electric chair and I'm holding him, I go, you can't move from here, so just hang on and relax. I need about a minute to rest. And I'm just like, I go, you can't do nothing, just relax.
That's hilarious.
Because there's certain positions where I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 positions are like cradles. They're like wrestling cradles. And
right.
It happens here where the guy on the bottom just can't do anything. He's not getting tapped, but he can't move. He's completely wrapped up. And I use those spots to rest. So,
but it's hilarious that you told him, just relax. You can't
know,
get out of this.
when me and Jean-Jacques wrestle, we are always talking smack to each other. Me and Jean-Jacques always goof, and it's always a joke.
It's
always.
Fun. Yeah.
Always. Me and John, it's like a thing we do. And I do it. There's certain guys that I roll with, and I do that too. I don't like to do it too much to my students because then it seems like I'm acting all arrogant against a guy that I could.
Right.
He's one of my students. He's a blue belt or a white belt.
Right.
I'm not. That would look really douchey.
No,
but
you do it playful.
But because Jean-Jacques can smash me anytime he wants, I talk. I pretend like I'm arrogant because it's funny because he could do anything you want.
Right.
So no matter how douchey I get, we know it just doesn't make any sense because he's killing me. But so same thing here. I have so much respect for him that I feel like I could just joke around with him, and I don't want him to be mad at me.
Well, that's good. That's a good attitude to have, man, especially after 11 years between the matches. It's cool that you kept that feeling, and you were completely respectful, rather, the entire way up to it, the promotion of it, your opinion of him. You know, you were like praising what a legend he is. And,
always,
you were very self-deprecating about your first victory too. This was a 20-minute match, and because there was no submission, it's a draw. Metamoris is doing a unique thing, and I don't know if they've got the rules totally ironed out where they want them to yet, but what they're trying to do is discourage people from point fighting. And what that means is work towards submission at all times, and you may get a submission and you may not get a submission, but the idea is you're seeing real jiu-jitsu here, and they've accomplished that. Like, everyone was going for submissions, whether it was Guy Mendez or Rafa Mendez or, Keenan Cornelius. Everyone was going for submissions. Sometimes they didn't get them, but it was really exciting because of that, because guys couldn't just sort of wrestle to a certain position and then hold. But if this was a scored match, you would have beat him handily. I mean, you swept him multiple times. You got side control on him, and you had 2 near submissions.
This is where he gets the underhook. The crowd goes nuts because he's been fighting for the underhook for 5 minutes, and he finally gets it. And this is the position that we were in our first match. So all the greats are like, yes, he got the underhook. It's so technical that he finally got it, and I still have him in quarter guard here. So I was a little worried. But you see what I'm doing with my right hand? I'm going under the knee right here. I never really do that. And I was keeping him from going no hand pass. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is nice. He can't go no hand pass because I'm holding his leg out like that. And I've never really done that before. This is the first time. It's crazy.
Oh,
you see how I have my left hand?
Yeah.
He can't go no hand pass. I'm holding open his legs. So I felt comfortable even though I didn't have the underhook. I just had to somehow get a lockdown. So for my people, they know, they see me fighting like this. Oh, this is every day in the gym. This is how it looks. I start in this position. This is how it looks. So to the Gracie side, they probably thought he was winning right here. Like my mom was freaking out. My mom thought he was killing me.
At this moment, you got the lockdown. Somewhere in here, you got the lockdown. And when you got the lockdown, here it is.
There it
the
is.
crowd went fucking crazy.
Yes, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I get the lockdown, my guys go nuts.
Yeah.
He gets the underhook, his crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
I get the lockdown, my crowd goes nuts. It was crazy.
The lockdown's way bigger though. What for folks who don't know, the lockdown, when you got a guy who's really good at it and he has you in half guard and slaps it on, your leg's in jeopardy. You might tear your fucking knee. You're getting manipulated. You got two legs against one. And when a guy's really good at it, a guy like Eddie, when they're really good at it and they have two legs against one, it puts you in a precarious position. And it makes you vulnerable to a lot of different sweeps. And here you're flipping him backwards. Like
that's when the crowd went nuts.
Well, dude, you got his leg in a mangled position here.
There's an electric chair right here. I didn't think this was the plan. The plan was exactly what happened. That was the plan. I was going to go just do what I do at the gym every night. This is exactly what I do every night. This is nothing new. It wasn't a special strategy for Hoyler. So that was Jean-Jacques' whole plan, is to get me to do what I normally do, the best shit I'm at, to do it out there on him.
And then he reversed you for a second.
That was only to get
the top
I didn't have the leg on my shoulder. So I go, let's go back and boom and get it. So it looked like he swept me, but I went back to put that leg back on my shoulder and I rocked right back up. So people thought I'm like, dude, I do it all the time. You know, so now I'm in a position. This is where
you rocked it with momentum because you had full control over that leg.
It just wasn't on my shoulder. I had to go back and scoop it up. So now I'm on top, and now I'm in the electric chair on top, and this is where I'm talking to him. I'm like, you can't do anything here. Just relax. This is where I rest. I went through a lot of explosion, and I rest right here. I have control of his
And
leg.
look at this. That's why he was doing that thing with his hands, because people were wondering, like, why is he throwing his hands up in the air? Like, you know, like he did that a couple of times when you got him into side control.
Yeah, and
he did that.
And then I passed the guard, boom. And right here, he's still stuck. I got him in a cradle.
But that makes sense now, because everybody wondered why he was doing that with his hands. People were like, oh, Hoyler was complaining. No, he was complaining because you were talking shit to him. Yeah. You were saying you're stuck here. Don't move.
And maybe he was saying, well, I can't do nothing. He's holding me. He's holding me. Like, this is jiu-jitsu. We're holding, we're clenching and squeezing, you know. And he's all like, how could he complain about that? He's totally immobile here. Even though I let go of the lockdown and passed his guard. The reason why the pass was guaranteed is because of the control I have on his leg. I have a head and arm and the leg, so that pass was easy. As soon as I let go of the lockdown, didn't want to let it go until I rest a little bit. And then finally, I let go of the leg last, and now I'm in side control. And here's the big transition. I thought he was going to turn into me, but he turns away. So I'm like, ooh, that's even easier, but he's rolling in a nice way, but I had to turn it into 100% here. So this is halfway. This is a neck crank that I do to get the guy to give me his back. So I'm neck cranking him here, and if he pulls his left arm all the way out, I usually transition to the back, and that's what he did right there. So now I'm getting up, and his left arm's free now, so all I got to do is get up on my right knee and then swirl to the back. That's what I'm going to do here. I wanted the twister. That was the plan. The plan was to get him in a twister, but he did a really good job of just shrugging me off. So now I got to start over again. So at this point, I'm thinking, this is what I'm really thinking. I thought the most important thing for me is to go out there and not get smoked and not get tapped in 20 seconds or 30 seconds, because that would crush me. That would be the worst possible thing. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. And if I lose, if I tap, at least let me go out there and we have 20 minutes. Let's see some good 10th planet techniques for my people just to show that it works. If he taps, so at this point, I'm thinking I did so much to him right there. Textbook 10th planet shit all the way through, note for note, that I thought, the worst case scenario, if he taps me in 1 second, at least I got some good shit in. So in my mind, because that's how much respect I have for him.
Right.
I'm like, he could still get me. I'm not over. We got like 13 minutes. So in my mind, I already won. I go, I won. So when you think that way and I thought I already did all this shit. So the worst case scenario, he taps me out, I did a good job. So for some reason, that made me just want to attack him more and go, let's just keep pounding up. Oh, here's another one. Damn, let's see if I could do another one. Oh, here's another one. And I just changed shit. I go, damn, I'm not going to go for a twister. I'm going to go for a vaporizer. So when I get him in an electric chair and he doesn't tap, when I test his flexibility, if they don't tap, I can just sweep him and get on top and set him up for a twister, which I already tried. But I made the decision. I go, you know what? There's a lot. He's pretty good at shaking me off the back. If I just go to the vaporizer, it'll look just as cool as the twister. And I do it all the time, and that's good enough. So that was the plan. I go, he's not stopping the electric chair, so I'm going to go back and get another. I thought about rubber guard for a second there, and I thought, you know what? You see how I got the underhook? You see that? I went rubber guard, lockdown, whipped him. He had the underhook, but that whip, boom, I sucked him around, bam. That's a little whip down combo, a very important combo to master. And now I got the underhook, so I thought he's not stopping the electric chair tonight because if he would have been able to, he can't, I'm able to do electric chairs easy, so I knew I could just go back and more money in the bank. I knew he couldn't stop it. He just was perplexed here. So I go, you know what? I got to go to the vaporizer here, which means I got to get his leg over to my left shoulder on the other side. I need to get my head. I just need to squash his leg down and get on top in a leg drag type position, but a leg drag with a lockdown to maintain control. So right now I go back to the electric chair for the third or fourth time, and I was really confident at this point. I just knew he wasn't going to tap from the electric chair, and I didn't want to pass his guard, get on top, and try the twister. I already made the decision.
So for folks who don't know what we're talking about here, the electric chair is a move where you got a guy literally in a full split, and you're controlling his bottom leg, and the other leg you're forcing it up towards his head. Most people don't have the flexibility to tolerate it, and a lot of times they tap just from that. You're like literally ripping their crotch apart.
Yeah, and right here, you know what? I didn't get the position I wanted, so I'm letting him get on top so I can set it up again. I go, he cannot stop it. He can't stop my underhooks. I already knew I had him beat on the inside, so I'm gonna set it up again and go back to because I wanted the vaporizer. He foiled the vaporizer. I lost control of his leg, so I got to start over again.
So all of these times where he's on top, where the audience is like, oh, the tide is shifted back and forth, this was just you resetting. Dude,
he could not stop my half guard game. The confidence just kept growing and growing. So even though he has the underhook, I go, watch, I'm gonna get the underhook back. I was already getting it back. There's no way you could stop it. Like that. See that? Boom, whip down. I go, yep. I'm just going to keep doing it. He can't stop it. So, and then I'm going to start all over. I know he's not going to be able to, he's not going to shake the lockdown. The lockdown's too strong. He was never close to ever getting his leg out. I was so confident at this point. I was getting a little gassed, and I knew I could recover. All I needed was like a little time. So I'm to hide the gassiness or the gassiness.
The fact
I would stop breathing. I'm dying inside, but I would stop breathing. You know, like when Jason walks into your house and you're in the closet and you're like, but then you go.
Yeah.
I was doing that just so he wouldn't smell. Now I did it again. I knew I could do it again. Now I got to get his leg to the other side. I don't want, look at it. See, I'm holding onto his leg. I need to get it to the other side of my body. Right? So I'm like, you know what? Damn, I lost it again. Let me do it again. So look at that. Let me do it again. They thought he reversed me, but I go, I'm just setting it up. Now I got the leg over right there. Boom. Now that's where I want to be. That's the transition right there. And I go, ooh, I'm going to go after his leg. I thought about it for a second there, but I go, no, you know what? I'm going to roll. I can't just reach back for it. I got to set it up. I'm going to set it up right here, squash him down. I thought about it again, but then he stopped it right there. And I go, okay, let me set it up differently. But then we got broke up here. And this is where all the controversy happened.
What the hell was going on here?
I knew what position we were in. It was top stoner control. Right. I knew the position. I'm there all the time. He had no idea what I was doing. So, and he didn't know that I knew. He thought it was just some crazy, weird position. And he didn't know where he was. And I pulled guard right here, and I was going to say, here, give me your leg. Let me throw it over. I'm going to get on top, and we're going to go back, and I show you exactly the whole thing. I was going to show it. I was going to do it from the top. See, I'm trying to do it from step one, and then I was going to take him over, and I was showing him the sweep instead of just getting in the position. He's all confused. He don't know what's going on. I go, you got to get your leg over. And he's not. He keeps refusing. I'm like, man, he's not letting me get in the position. And look, he's like, no, no, no. And he didn't know. In his defense, he didn't know the position, but I know exactly what's going on. He refuses to get in the position. And then I'm just thinking, I need to rest a little bit anyways. So this is bullshit. I'm not going to argue. Look, we're just arguing here. He won't let me. I know exactly. And then I decided, fuck that. Fuck this shit. I'm not going to get fucked here.
And the crowd was going nuts. They're yelling, replay,
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 replay. And so Scott Nelson looks over right here. He looks over to Halleck, and he goes, what do you want me to do, Halleck? Halleck said, stand him up. Start standing. And when, look, he's going to walk over right now. And I said, what did he say? And then they put the replay on. He goes, Halleck said, stand him up. He said, stand him up. And I'm like, fuck that. We're not standing up. And then the replay comes on, and everybody looks at the replay. And then Hoyler just gets down and gets into position. I go, look what I know what position's going on. So he let me have it, see? He said, okay. No resistance once the video came out.
Yeah, you kept trying to sneak that left knee in.
Yeah, yeah. And this is top stoner control right there.
Right.
There's stoner control from the back, and there's
but he
stoner
didn't have
control
your
from
wrists.
the top.
He didn't have your wrists before.
Well, it didn't
break.
matter. It didn't matter. None of this. What I want here is I want him to push me away because I'm going to dip and roll. I'm going to tuck and roll. But if he holds on to me, I can't tuck and roll if he holds on. So I got to make it look like I want to smash him and squeeze him because I could pass at any time. The pass is guaranteed. Do you want the for sure pass or do you want to try to tuck and roll and go for the kill right away and go after the vaporizer? And I thought, I'm going right for the vaporizer. Fuck passing his guard and then he recovers half guard and all that shit. I wanted to go for the kill right here. So right now I'm on my side. I'm setting it up. I need to be up on my knees, but just all I do is need to get up. See, I'm getting up. All I got to do is really get on top. But I know I could get on top of him anytime I want. I know this position. I'm just waiting. Now I'm on my knees. I collected some gas. I recovered. He can't get out. I'm in control here. His legs are all mangled. So what I want to do is turn to my right and roll on my left shoulder. But I'm resting. All I'm doing is resting. I'm going to turn to my right, roll on my left shoulder, but I need him to push me. So I'm selling the fact that I want to squeeze him. And I want to see, now he's pushing away. He bought it. He bought the fact that I wanted to squeeze him. So this is what I always do. So now I'm gurgling and going, like I hate this, but look, he's going to help me. See how he helped me and he pushed me through? He pushed me through. Like,
all I did is and now you got this. And I thought for sure he was going to tap.
This is the vaporizer. No one has ever not tapped to this. This is, in my arsenal, the nastiest leg lock. It's a calf crank and it's a toe hold at the same time. And he can't protect himself with his other leg. We're on his other leg, so his other leg is useless. I can use both my arms as opposed to the calf crank from the truck. The calf crank from the truck, you can't use both arms for fear of getting armbarred with one of them.
The left, yeah.
Yeah. So you need to protect that other leg anyways. He's got a free leg to break shit apart. But from the vaporizer, he can't protect with his other leg. It's out of the mix, and you could use both arms because there's no arm bar. And it's a leg compression and a toe hold in one. It's the nastiest leg lock in my arsenal. And the fact that his leg popped at least 7 times, it was popping and cracking. And I'm telling him right here, I'm asking him, I go, dude, we can end this. And he's like, no. See that? He's like, no. I go, we can stop this. It keeps popping. He goes, that's normal. That's normal. I go, it keeps popping. And he refused to tap. He refused, man. And I was yanking. So I thought, I was doing things I never did to that vaporizer. I usually just grab the toes with both hands, twist it and pull. And it's really easy. And the calf crank from the truck, another thing that you need to stomp the inside of your left foot with your right foot. You got to shove your leg deeper into the back of his knee.
Look how nasty that looks.
But in the calf crank, you need a stomp. In this one, you don't need a stomp. You could just keep your legs figure forward. Both arms, that's enough pressure. Just leave your legs figure four. But if for some crazy reason they don't tap like he did, then you would go to the stomp to add even more pressure. But he was holding the gi pant. So I could see he's holding my right leg. I need to use my right foot and stomp on the inside of my left foot. I need to pull it up and stomp on it.
And you can't get his hands free.
I can't get my leg free. You see how he's holding it?
Right.
But I mean, so I decided, you know what? I generally don't need to stomp on that foot. So I'm going to still try to make him tap like everyone else taps without it. But see how he's holding it? So I grab his foot, I'm twisting it. And I thought there's like a minute left. I go, I'm going to give it everything I got one more time. And I just grabbed his foot, something I never do. And I twisted it and shoved it, like try to shove it like in his ribs, man. And he still wouldn't tap. And you're popping. And he didn't care. He just kept going.
He knew that if he didn't tap, it would be a draw, and that's what he needed. He couldn't have you tap twice. Tap him twice.
Yeah. He has nothing. The fact that he's holding on to my gi pants there, that's what's saving him. You know,
that's so crazy.
Yeah, he's in some serious danger right here.
If you had to do it again, would you do it with gi pants again?
Yes. Yes, because the gi pants made those electric chairs so easy. He was never close to pulling his leg out of the lockdown. So
the traction is just unbelievable.
I mean, the pants were bad for him in a lot of ways, but it saved him right here
in this one position.
Yeah, it did save him. But I would have went back to pants anyways with that whole pant scandal thing. I asked to wear pants. They said, okay, you can wear pants if you promise not to change your mind. I wanted to change my mind. They said, you promised not to change it. And then so they made me wear what I asked for. So I met his lawyer. His lawyer, it ended up being really, really cool, man. The guy that was trying to protect Hoyler from the pant whole situation.
That's when you're twisting it?
Dude, yeah, I'm pushing down and trying to smash.
He's obviously in some serious pain here, but it's incredible that he's not tapping. What do you think happened to the knee? If you had to guess, is there some damage?
I don't know. Maybe his knee always pops. And
well, that's the thing
normal.
they say about him is that he won't tap to joint locks. Like, remember when Sakuraba got him in that Kimura?
Yeah.
And they stopped the fight, and he's like, "Don't stop the fight. I'm there all day. I'm fine. Like, I don't get tapped from those things."
Yeah, man.
So like Halleck said, please don't watch this on YouTube. If you do watch on YouTube, please support Metamorphosis. Go there and purchase one for $20. There's a lot of high-level matches, and it was really fun.
People kept saying you were going nuts.
I was going crazy.
You were going crazy. They go, dude, you got to watch video. If there's video of Joe watching your match, you were just exploding.
Dude, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I left there. I couldn't talk to people. I ran when the match was over. I had to get out of there because there's no way I was going to be able to have a conversation with people on the street, regular folks that I didn't know. And I didn't want to have that conversation with anybody. I ran out of there.
Wow.
Dude, my heart was pounding.
Yeah, they said you were going nuts. Were you drunk?
No, not at all. Completely sober.
Were you one of the guys that cheered when the lockdown came into place? And were you kind of worried in the beginning? Because there was like 5 minutes of jockeying.
I was never worried.
He got the underhook, even when he had the underhook?
No, that didn't mean enough.
Because it looked like the same match. It looked like 2003, right?
I know too much about your game. I've seen you roll too many times. I felt it too. I know that lockdown is hot death. You get a hold of your leg, man. That's scary as shit. I hate that feeling. Your lockdown is like you're being compressed in between boards. That's what it feels like. It's like you figured out a way to do it, and you do it so well. And you've done it for so many years that you know the exact, correct, perfect angle to hit it where it's like bone is digging into meat, your shin bone is digging into meat, and you do a thing. You know, I like the analogy that you always use with tying your shoes, that when you tie your shoes every day. So when you go to tie your shoes, it's just automatic. It just goes.
It's magic.
Yeah, you don't even think about it.
It's just, you had no command. That just happened on its own.
And when you do jiu-jitsu long enough and you drill long enough and you're in a certain position long enough, you develop that too. You see it with the only forms of movements that I'm really knowledgeable about are striking movements and grappling movements. But you see it in those as well. And I guess you see it in everything. You see it in throwing a football. You see it in baseball. You see it in everything. When someone gets some shit down and they really got it down, like Paul Sass in his triangle. That motherfucker, you know, if you get caught in that guy's triangle, that dude's been there 1,000 times. He's just got just a feel for it, that extraordinary feel that rarely happens. Like Ronda Rousey's arm bars, same kind of thing. And your lockdown is just death. And I saw that. Once I saw the lockdown, I was like, oh, he's in trouble. Like, if he let him get that.
You were that confident?
Fuck yeah.
Man, you know, people were telling me of things you were saying before that match and your predictions. And, man, that kind of stuff scares me. Like, dude, you and Jean-Jacques.
I was being very conservative.
You and Jean-Jacques have so much confidence in me. That's like, man, like the feeling of getting smoked and what you guys would think, like, damn, like I didn't ever want that look in your eye, that like third or fourth time that I did open mic night where I was getting a little confidence, and that one time I went on stage and I thought I'd do something different and not tell jokes, but talk about be like a comic talking about his wife and his girlfriend, but it's not really his wife, and it ends up being some stripper, and he's delusional and he thinks it's his wife, and I try to do that on stage, you know what I mean, like later, but it wasn't no one laughed, and I got off stage and you were like, come here, follow me. You were like this. You were like, you couldn't even look me in the eye, dude. You were like,
no, that's not true.
No, you were like, what are we gonna do?
Well,
come back with me. And you took me to the back and you fucking lectured me in a good way.
Well,
you said, dude, you can't do shit like that. You got to be a bad motherfucker to pull something like that. No one gets it, dude. You got to tell jokes. You can't get up there and try to tell a story. It's an open mic night. He goes, dude, I felt like that was, like you talk about bombing on stage, eat 1,000 dicks. I felt that moment.
What I was trying to do is figure out how I could describe it to you. The reason why I wasn't looking you in the eyes, I was like, come here, man. All I was thinking is what is the best way? Because this is a very sensitive moment, and I knew that it'd be devastating.
That's what it was. It's
a very sensitive moment, so I'm trying to figure out how to.
That look. I don't want that look. I don't want that look of oh, that's Joe's look of how can he be nice to tell me something I did was terrible. How could he be nice? Like if I went out there and Hoyler just got me to ankle lock in 5 seconds, like right away, just right away. Like let's say I did something stupid and I tried to pull guard and I clowned around a little bit for 5 seconds and I pulled guard and he got me to ankle lock and I tapped. Like before I even yanked it, I just tapped and it was like early tappage. It was the worst possible case scenario. And what would you would be like the same thing? You'd be
I'd be like, oh shit.
What would you say? What would you say? Shit happens, bro. Like, what could you say?
What can you say?
I didn't want that look on your face, man. You know why? You know why? Because the more shit you talk to your friends and all that about, like, yeah, Eddie's gonna dominate, and like Jean-Jacques making bets with people, he's betting his house and shit. I'm like, ooh, like not only. You could handle me and you, like, dude, you fucked up. But, like, all that shit you talked, you're like, damn, I talked a lot of shit and it was on video. That's not gonna that's gonna sting. I'm gonna eat all those words. Fuck. So
fun?
that's I think about that shit too. You talk, like, Jean-Jacques telling everyone, like someone from the Gracie family called him up and they wanted to make a bet, and Jean-Jacques said, are you serious? How sure I am he's gonna win? I'll bet your house. You wanna bet your house literally? Bet your house. He made a real bet, and the guy wouldn't take it.
Holy
shit! I'm like, whoo, that's crazy shit,
house.
man. Like that one, like when I was a purple belt, I was in the finals of a tournament, and Jean-Jacques was the ref, and my opponent in the final, his coach, like, Jean-Jacques, you can't ref this match. That's your student. This is ridiculous. And then Jean-Jacques said, okay, you're right, this match doesn't need a ref. And he sat down next to his other coach and goes, go ahead, start fighting. My boy's going to get your boy in an arm bar, and it's going to be his right arm. And everyone heard that, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, no. I'm fucked. Talk about pressure. No one's ever done shit like that. That is a true story, man. That's a true story.
So what happened?
He sat down. I got the guy in an arm bar.
So you did it because Jean-Jacques said it? Or would you have gone for it anyway?
He says that it's almost like he says it. He wants me to hear it so that I have no choice to go out there and fucking go to war. You know what I mean? Like, I have no choice, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, whatever he has to say to make it happen, he goes, because like, I think he knows that if there's enough pressure, that I'll be forced to do my game. All he wants to do is play my game, right? So he had to play some psychological warfare with me in my camp. It was all about playing my shit. Because how can I get this motherfucker to do what he does here all the time? You know, because I haven't competed in a long time. I could have easily folded from the pressure. People get the, jitters.
11 years.
Yeah, people fold. This is a huge match, man. 10 Planet against... versus a Gracie, like right there, and our hometowns, and everyone's screaming, and it's some crazy shit, a lot of pressure. My family, my mom, I thought, my son, my wife was there. I'm like, holy shit, my mom's there, my wife's there. It's just like this is like I'm at the MGM Grand at some main event. I'm like, holy shit. That's what it is. So much pressure.
The place was packed.
My head instructors, all my students, all the shit you talk, Jean-Jacques, all this pressure. So I thought, man, there's a chance people fold under pressure. There's a lot of pressure, all different kind of dimensions. And will I be one of those dudes that fold? But what I realized is that I did want to win. I did want to do my best. That's the most important. Just clear out all the bullshit. Do you want to do your best? Yes. The best thing is to do your shit. Go after them. Trust your cardio. Go after them. And all those little leaks on this dam that was about to burst with all this pressure and all these leaks, I could fix all these leaks. And all I had to do was focus on one thing, just going after him and trusting myself. Okay, cool. So then, bam, it was all about, dude, you have no choice. Go out there and fucking make it happen. You know, you're not folding under this pressure. You're going to do it, and you're going to go after them 100%, and you're going to do your best.
Did you think about doing it high?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Too much pressure?
Too much pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you're under pressure, I don't suggest inhalation of cannabis.
What about a light edible?
No, I didn't even want to take. I had so much weed in me. The one thing I learned at Jean-Jacques is I was never stoned when I went to Jean-Jacques, because I wanted to make sure we trained at the same time. We were going to compete. I wanted to train right there. It was that same time, like 6:30-ish, 7:30-ish, 7 in that area. Just get my body going 1,000,000%. Shark Tank like a motherfucker. Getting my ass kicked. I never been tapped so much in my life going through these Shark Tanks. It's crazy. It doesn't feel great to constantly get tapped by people and getting fucking wrecked. You know, trying to last an hour straight with fresh animals, black belts waiting to jump on you and start on your back and start in the mount, start in bad position. I was getting fucked up, dude. And
it's the only way to do it, though, right?
Yeah.
And the swimming, that was really a fascinating thing that we talked about.
Yeah, the swimming was important because I'm not a real athlete. I don't ever do cardio. I do jiu-jitsu for the fun of it, and the fact that it keeps you in shape. That's awesome, beautiful. Kill two birds with one stone. It's fun. It's awesome. My job is teaching people how to strangle each other and break limbs. I'm fucking lucky. Embrace that shit. I love it. Competing is different. There were days where I got to see my son 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, day after day. I'm like, damn, I'm not seeing my son that much. I'm like, can't wait to get home. Just to get home before he goes to sleep, just so I could see him for 5 minutes. And I'm like, man, my wife's under a lot of pressure. She's handling everything. I'm always training. Everything's on my schedule. Everything is priority is me, and that's not the way it's always been. You know, we work together, but I told her this 2 months, I could lock my way up in Big Bear and be away from you guys and do it that way. That's a good idea. If people heard I did that, they would think, fuck yeah, he's doing the right thing. Or I could train hard and you let me do whatever the hell I want to do for this match, and I don't want to hear any, I have to be able to do without any stress, because we have a baby boy, and we trade off. It's a team. It's a management. I got my time. She's got her time. You know, and we work together. But this camp, I said, I can go to Big Bear, and you have to take care of him 24/7. Or I could stay here, but you still take care of him, but I get to see him too in between all this shit. So I'm still here with the family as much as I can, but I need you to understand. So, man, she was just did everything and made sure that man, she's just amazing. And
that's awesome.
So it was beautiful. The training camp was beautiful. So I thought, should I do the Marcelo Garcia thing? And he says, I don't do any strength and conditioning. I don't do any conditioning. I just train jiu-jitsu hard every day. I don't know how many hours. See, that's what Marcelo does, and he gets away with it. He doesn't do anything extra. He just does jiu-jitsu.
That's amazing.
So you've heard that from several people. Like Pedro Rizzo said that. All I do is MMA. That's it. I don't do anything else. I don't do any cardio. Sakuraba never did cardio. But generally, 99% of professional athletes have a cardio program. They got a system, and they got trainers, and they got clocks, and they got the heart rate. They got the thing on the heart, and then the boom thing on their arm. And it's a science, and they master their body. And ooh, look what the body does. Oh, it's better here, and they've mastered that shit. Marcelo doesn't do that, so I thought, man, it's way better, it's easier, it's lazier if I just fucking try to just do jiu-jitsu. But I thought about that for the first week of camp once it was official. But then I thought, you know what? I don't want to go into this match with any fucking doubts. Let me get my cardio on the professional tip. You know, for once in your life, train like a professional athlete. I was already lifting weights for years, so I was already strong. I was ready. When I got offered the fight, I was like, hell yeah, I'm stronger than I've ever been. I was already in good shape to teach and stuff. But I never did cardio. So I decided, okay, fuck it. I'm going to do cardio like a professional athlete. What should I do? I don't like to run. So I know you run, you swim, or you bike. You know, that's good enough. For 2003, I did the rock climbing treadmill. Remember that shit at 24 Hour
Yeah, I
Fitness?
remember that shit.
Right. We did like 3 minutes and then I don't remember the time thing. I was just...
You were doing rounds.
Yeah, rounds.
Jamie had you, I think it was like whatever the rounds were in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't really remember too much of what I was thinking back then. Again, I never... I did that for 2005 Abu Dhabi too. I thought, okay, this is fun, treadmill rock climbing. But I got hurt 2005 Abu Dhabi. So this time I thought, then I started swimming. Remember I was using your pool and I started swimming? I think that was for the Pahumpina fight. I go, fuck the treadmill rock climbing. Let me try swimming. So I swam a little bit and then the Katrina hit, that didn't end up happening. So again, I'm not a professional athlete, but I decided, fuck it. I got 6 weeks. Let me get my cardio together professionally. Let me go in there. And the one thing, I decided to swim. I went to 24 Hour Fitness. They have a big-ass clock. I didn't even know what I was going to do. I just thought, okay, well, let me just sprint. Sprint across the pool, see how long it takes. As soon as the clock hit 12, I sprinted, and it took me either from like 20 to 30 seconds to get across the pool. So I decided, you know what I'm going to do? 20 times, I'm going to sprint across the pool and rest the remainder of that minute. And as soon as the clock hits the 12, bam, sprint across again. And then whenever I get there, rest the rest of the minute. And every time the hand hits 12, go. And I do that 20 times just because it was 20-minute rounds. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it was too much or too little. I said, hey, it's symbolic or whatever. So I know sprinting 100%, running 20 times is a lot. Sometimes you want to do 10 sprints, or you want to do the sand dune, sprint up the sand dune 6 times or 7 times. I just said 20 times. It's 20 minutes. That might not be that much. But what I learned about myself is how long it takes to recover. That was the most important thing. That would have fucked me up in this fight. If I didn't do the cardio, I would have fell apart. I didn't understand how the heart works. So, I've been training consistently since 2003 at my gym, and the way I treated my cardio is I would go as hard as I can, and then once I start gassing, I thought, okay, the rest of this round I'm going to hold on, sit on my ass for maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, depending. I'm not training for anything, and then get my second win and then come back. That's what I thought cardio was. It's like you go, once you're out of gas, hey, you're out of gas, you're going to need some rest, settle down for a while. You got 7 minutes. You have 7 minutes before you gas. That's what I thought. You have 7. I didn't know about recovery and the mastery of recovery. And that gas, you can recover from that easy. You just got to know you can. If you don't think you can, you won't.
So by doing those sprints, it gave you confidence that you could use 100% of your energy.
Yeah, because at like around at 8, I would sprint.
Are you doing like, what kind of stroke?
Just swim, basic fucking swimming like in a lake. You know what I mean?
Breaststroke like this? Or just, what is that called? One left arm, right arm. What is it? Freestyle.
Like this.
Okay.
Like this. Just like a retard.
Okay.
Like I'm not
bad
it doesn't
technique. You're just trying to
I'm just sprinting.
Yourself.
I'm panicking across the pool.
Okay.
So by the time the first time I get by, the first one, it's not that I get by, I'm like, that was the first one I sprinted. And I'm waiting. So I'm like, I could really just keep going, but I'm just like, this is what I'm doing. So after like the third one, I was like, I'm at the edge of the pool. I got this. I got 30 seconds, 35 seconds to recover. At the 10th one, thinking about quitting. After every sprint, I'm like, people at the pool, there's old ladies by the sauna. They're like watching this guy, this tattooed guy dying in the pool. And I got 10 more to go. Dying. But I know that, when the clock hits the 8, I'm dying. When it hits the 9, I'm dying. When it hits the 10, still dying. But damn, right before it hits the 11, take a big deep breath, ready to go, because you have to go at that 12. And the crazy thing about it is you don't need a trainer to tell you to hurry up, because you're going across the pool as fast as you can, because you want a lot of time to rest and recover. You're racing for that recovery time. So there's no way I never went 100%. I had to go as 100% as fast as I can to get across that pool so I can rest. So
you never didn't go 100%.
Yes, yes. I didn't need anybody to tell me. I go, dude,
Right.
I know, motherfucker. I'm trying to rest on that motherfucker. I'm trying to rest. So it makes me, dude, it kicks my ass. I want to quit at 14. I go, I did a lot. 14's a lot. I'm sorry. 14's a lot. It's all good. I could do it. I still gained. I made gains today. I don't have to go 20. I'm like, fuck. I'm at 15. I'm like, I could do 5. Seems like so many. I'm like, fuck. When I'm like at 7 or 8 and I'm gassing, I'm like, fuck, I got 12 more. And you can't stop. You're on a clock. When that clock hits 12, you got to go. You know, and so it's a nightmare. It's torture. No one's forcing me to do it, but I just fucking do it. And I did it twice a week. And there's some cardio machines out there that laugh at that. They think that's nothing. And there's professional athletes go, "Did we warm up?"
Well, that's just because you build up from a base, and these guys have been going at it like that for a long time.
Yeah, but what it ended up happening, I don't know how a football player would do it, or if that's fucking child's play or whatever. But what it did for my jiu-jitsu, automatically, I knew in the middle of that hour Shark Tank when I hit that first, I knew you just tell yourself, dude, you could recover. Find a place to hang out, conserve your energy, wait 30 seconds, it's going to come back, and then I'm back. Oh my God, cool. So at first you're like, oh shit, 2 weeks ago, or before I started doing this, I would have said, it's over, son. I ran out of gas. I'm going to need to stop. I did good. I got 7 minutes, got 8 minutes, got 12 minutes. That's not the way it was. So I would keep going for an hour, dude. My arm muscles would be more tired than my heart. My heart could keep going. I used to be dead after that Shark Tank in the beginning. For an hour, I would be dead just from the Shark Tank. Dude, I wasn't even getting that tired after Shark Tank.
That's incredible.
There was times.
Well, explain what a Shark Tank is. People, you've said that term a couple times.
There's. You know, you get as many guys as you want on the Shark Tank. It's dedicated to one person, obviously dedicated to me on this training camp. I'd get in the middle, and there'd be, 3 to 10 guys sitting around, black belts, purple belts, and they're all waiting their turn to get their 5 minutes with me, like starting on my back, starting on a mount, all these positions, some like in my guard, or I'm in their guard, just all these positions, side controlling me on the belly with the underhook, on the back a lot, mount a lot, and man, just fresh guys coming in, all my best guys coming in, getting mangled and tapped, and because I'm trying to conserve my energy, I'm trying to last an hour, but then you're like, dude, you got to trust your cardio. You can't conserve. You had a bad night. I was having bad nights, good nights, bad nights, a lot of shit. Jean-Jacques, the main thing is, I didn't want to go in there and be too cautious and go, it's 20 minutes. I better be, because I would get that way in Shark Tank sometimes where I'm like, dude, I got Sean Bollinger next. I got Jared Carlson. I got to save my energy with this dude because I'm looking around as I'm rolling at the Shark Tank going, oh my God, these guys are coming after me. So I would just be really conservative. And what that would happen, I train these killers right. They know how to close the fucking deal. So anybody pays cautious with you, that's part of the game. You just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and that's what happened. I was just sinking in quicksand with that mentality of trying to conserve and not really attacking, because the attack is what puts them on defense and stops their forward march. So you have to constantly, even if you don't have a game plan right now, just disrupt them.
So what percentage do you think your game improved because of your cardio bump?
1,000%. Because now I knew, dude, that I would have thought that in Abu Dhabi, as soon as I started breathing hard, that it was over. Done. I did what I can. Now I'm breathing. I didn't know that you can recover over and over. When the swim sprints, you're reminded over and over, you're dead, and you did another sprint. You're dead, you did another sprint. You kept going. You were dead at 10, and you kept going. You kept recovering, and you recover quick. And after reminding yourself that you can recover during jiu-jitsu, during those Shark Tanks, or you can recover, relax, you can recover instead of panicking, because if you panic and think you can't, now you're at a downward spiral with your cardio. That panic will suck up more of that. It's going to be harder to recover because you're panicking and you think it's over. But once you get to the point where you know you can recover, you stop telling yourself, oh, I can recover, relax. You just do it. You're huffing and puffing, and you're not even worried. There's not even an ounce of panic. You know you're going to come back, and that is what that performance Saturday night was all about, is knowing that I could recover. That was huge. There were times where I didn't want to see him smell blood, and I go, I just need time to recover. I would talk to Jean-Jacques, stop breathing. I'm trying to recover, and I just, John, how much like time? And looking over, trying to act like it's nothing. But meanwhile, I just want him to relax. We're not doing it. Just relax. And there's no need to hush. But those were all mental games. But that was only because I was doing that naturally. Right. It was only because I knew I needed a little time to recover. I didn't know the professional athlete shit before. This is like nothing new to professional athletes. Right. What I'm doing is I'm letting people that aren't professional athletes and never done cardio, this is what you discover. This is why cardio is so important, is understanding how your body can recover.
Kendall Grove said that to me once after he did The Ultimate Fighter. He said he learned from Tito. He just said, cardio is everything, man. It's everything. He just couldn't stop stressing. He's like, I'm a different fighter because of cardio.
Yeah.
If you got the ability to keep going, the amount that your cardio diminishes.
The ability to recover.
Yeah.
That and knowing that you can recover and having faith in your body, you never panic. You just keep going. You just know, this ain't nothing. I'm just going to chill here. It's going to, oh, there's back. Let's go. Now I got power. Whoop. Now you can throw a combination. And then you wait for that green light. Boop.
You know who used to do a lot of swimming? Maurice Smith. Remember Maurice Smith?
Yeah.
He used to do a lot of swimming. Maurice was a UFC heavyweight champion. He was a champion kickboxer. He was fought in extreme fighting. Remember, he was like one of the first guys to ever win by head kick. Yeah.
I could barely walk after this. I was done with 20. I got out of the pool, and the main thing is at the very end, you got to walk. You got to keep your body moving. So I would walk around the pool.
Why do you have to walk?
It's good to walk when you're super tired, so your body gets used to moving while it's recovering.
Yeah, why is it bad to just lie down? I've heard it's bad to lie down.
Yeah, because then your body gets used to having to have everything shut down to recover. You want to be able to recover and still be on 30%. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's probably better to recover, jog a little bit.
Right.
And then cool down, you know what I mean? And then get to the point now where you're recovering and you never stop jogging. That's probably the best, I'm just guessing. But for sure, when you can barely walk and you're dead and tired, to try to walk and to try to keep going, that's the very least you can do.
Right.
For sure, lying down is not because Jean-Jacques never let me lie down. Get up and keep walking. You want to recover? Because when I would get to that point in the beginning, I would walk around. I'm walking around Jean. I could barely walk. Goes, keep walking. You got to keep the body moving. So it's all basic shit that I'm sure people know. But for the people that have never dove into competing or doing cardio, I'm telling you, I'm 43 years old and I'm just discovering the magical powers of mastering your body and knowing how fast it can recover. When you have that kind of confidence, that's what that performance was all about, trusting my cardio. And I was able to do...
Well, it's about putting in the work. You just put in a tremendous amount of work, 2 months worth of work. The cardio work, along with all the jiu-jitsu shark tanks and all the training and sparring and rolling constantly.
Spent a lot of time with leg lock defense. A lot of time. Wow. There was guys out there. I was getting help from so many guys out there. Max Bishop, catch wrestler out in I think he's in Alabama or somewhere out there. I know him through Alan Belcher. He was.
He's the guy that helped him with Paul Harris.
A lot of guys helped Alan Belcher with Paul Harris. Alan Belcher's DVD immunity that helped me a lot. I'm on a defensive mission now. I'm on a mission to structurize and just get all the best defense from everybody. And most of it is from Jean-Jacques, because Jean-Jacques defensively is probably one of the best ever. His defense is legendary. And so I'm just one by one, every position, figuring out what are the absolute best defensive things to do. Where should your hands be? Where should your legs be? And when it comes to defense, it's amazing because it's almost 100 times more complex than offense. There's so much to defense because there's only a few ways to build a skyscraper, to build it right. There's rules, but there's a million ways to knock that motherfucker down. You know what I mean? There's so many ways that disrupt it. It's so many different levels. You could come up with all these different angles, so many missiles and demos and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
The same thing with techniques and triangles. The setup, there's so many steps to the setup. There's so many different places along the way where you could disrupt that, nip it in the bud at different levels. And then at the end, the one thing I learned is all these top guys, Alan Belcher, Max Bishop, Eric Paulson, Gokar Chavichian. I was going to work with them. I just never got around with it. But I did work with Karan Darabedian from Hayastan. He came down to a Shark Tank and just fucking wrecked my legs, man. Karan Darabedian is a beast, man.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Ugh. Yeah. So Dean Lister, we were texting back and forth. I was like texting people videos and stuff. All my leg lock master friends, like Eric Paulson and Dean Lister and Manny Gamburian and all these guys, getting their advice. Everyone has a different way of escaping 50-50. Everyone has a different way of addressing a straight ankle lock. The heel hooks. There's so many different ways to fuck up perfection, a perfect submission. So many different ways. And it's fascinating that there's way more defense than there is offense and all these different things to learn. And then what I'm doing is I'm so fascinated with this. It's just, I'm on a quest to make 10th Planet just known for their defense. And it's fun. It's like a new thing. Like, wow, I'm so obsessed with it, man. I'm watching defensive videos all the time, just trying to come up with the ultimate defense. And what it does is not only is it making 10th Planet stronger as an association, but it's making my game stronger. Like,
Right.
why wouldn't I want to have like amazing defense? I've always been focused on no-gi offense. That's always been the problem in MMA. That's what I was trying to fix. That's what 10th Planet was all about. Is what are the problems in MMA? The problems are bottom game. So we're going to be bottom game heavy. We're going to be no-gi heavy, and we're going to have strikes in the mix. That's the problem with jiu-jitsu. The problem isn't that jiu-jitsu guys are tapping in the UFC. There's all these black belts are tapping. We need to fix the defense. Nobody was tapping these black belts. They just were getting beat on their back. That was the problem. So I'm going, well, our defense is fine. You keep working on the defense over there, Gracie Baja. We're going to try to fix the problem. This emergency. Jiu-jitsu we need some urgent care here. We need some scientists on the case, and all my students, all my moon heads, my head instructors, they're all my A&R agents, they're all my scientists. We need to fix this motherfucking problem for jiu-jitsu. Keep working on your passing from standing, which is not a problem in MMA. It's like, man, they can't pass standing. The problem is they're not doing much off their back offensively, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fix that problem. And
It's a fascinating thing to watch you put together this whole system and other guys inside your system, watch them add moves and build it all and figure it all out and watch it evolve. It's always been interesting too when I get injured and then come back. Get injured, take a few months off, come back, and there's, oh, no, we're not even doing that anymore. We found a new path. Like, there's all these new paths that come up or a new way to get around something, and this cuts to the chase, and this is quicker. Someone once made the analogy of jiu-jitsu to chess, and most people, love that analogy, but you rejected it immediately,
I said jiu-jitsu makes chess look like checkers.
Yeah, it does. And there's also so many different things involved too, not just the moves, but also the amount of discipline that you have to get your body into a position to play the game. I mean, you have to. Like what you're talking about, what you did. I mean, there's not a lot of people that have that kind of willpower to force themselves to do those fucking crazy sprints, to force themselves to do the shark tanks, to force themselves to train, and when you can barely walk and you feel like you have a heart attack. Not everybody has that in them to push themselves that way. So it's not just more complex in its variations and the attacks and the counters and defense, but it's also much more complex mentally and emotionally. It requires more of you. But I gotta imagine, man, that when you put it all together, what was that feeling like? What was it feeling like when it was over? Look, Hoyler didn't tap, but you dominated that match. There's just no doubt about it. And even more so in light of what you're saying about how when the reversals were just you adjusting and then you getting back to that position again.
That's how I roll. I mean,
yeah. It's incredible. It's amazing. What did it feel like? What did it feel like when it was all over? Before Royce Gracie got mad at you.
Yeah.
What did it feel like?
He's so mad at me. I don't know why.
He thinks you were talking shit about his family and about Hoyler.
Someone lied to him. Someone lied to him because
someone
went up to Royce and told, and I want to find out who the hell this is. Someone told Royce that I talk shit on the family, and maybe he believes it. He shouldn't believe it, but he came up to me, and but before that, I gotta read you this really quick.
Let me while you're looking for it.
No, I found it. In my first book, and the Jiu-Jitsu Unleashed, it came out in 2005. This was 2005.
2 years after you tapped Hoyler.
This was how I opened the book with. This is a very special thanks goes out to the Gracie family. Though we have different views on the gi, I do appreciate tremendously what you did for the world of martial arts and my world. Thank you, Helio, for being the warrior and innovator that you are. Who has tougher sons than you? No one. Thank you, Carlos Sr., for taking in the Machados as sons of your own and introducing them to the fascinating world of jiu-jitsu. Thank you, Horion, for producing the UFC. Without you, the MMA industry would not exist, and I would still be DJing in clubs. Thank you, Hoist, for having the courage to step up and fight in 8 and 16-man tournaments just to prove the effectiveness of jiu-jitsu. You will always be a legend. Thank you, Hickson, for being the Superman of the jiu-jitsu world. There is no one I would rather see in the ring than you. And thank you, Hoyler, for being you. Without you and your unbelievable accomplishments in the grappling world, this book would not exist. That was 2005. And after Metamoris Saturday night, I was emotional. I was crying. I just went 20 minutes, and it was just, man, I can't tell you. It was like, I don't know, man. It was just glorious. And I got on the mic, and what I just read, I just said that again. I said the same thing again on the mic. I just wanted to let everybody know we all come from the Gracies. We're all Gracies. It's not 10th Planet against the Gracies. We're doing this for jiu-jitsu. The 10th Planet thing is to help jiu-jitsu.
They don't want to hear that shit, though, because people don't want to hear that anybody is, their idea is that, no, we don't need your help. Their idea is, look, we're doing this, and you're doing something different, and your stuff sucks. Fuck you, and...
Yeah, man. So then I get off stage, hug my wife, hug my mom.
When I say they're saying that, I'm being, they're not really saying that. No one's really saying that, but no one wants to hear that you're, they have pride. No one wants to hear that you're trying to fix jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, yeah.
That attitude is
there was an element to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community that had, that ignored me. Let's just say that. Well,
let's be honest, though. I mean, it's kind of a tricky situation because no one has more faith in you than I do. No one believes. You're just a unique dude. You can figure shit out. You have a mind for games, and you have a mind for strategy. I mean, and you're really ridiculously talented in jiu-jitsu. The creativity aside and all the other things aside. But people who didn't know you, they saw this one match, and then after that match, they saw you fight Leo Vieira. Leo Vieira basically dominated you on points. You hurt your rib really early in the match. And
halfway through, he would have still beat me anyways.
But what I was going to say is that it was after this incredible emotional fight, and you beat a legend, and then you lost to another legend. You got dominated by another legend. So in their mind, they didn't take anything into account. They didn't take into account what a crazy experience it must have been for some kid to be the first American to ever tap at Gracie in a jiu-jitsu competition. I mean, it was bananas. The whole thing was bananas. You were crying. I was crying. We were freaking out. And then all of a sudden, boom, you got to fight again. Now you're fighting Leo Vieira. It's like, holy shit. Your whole thought process was around fighting Royler Gracie. I remember leading up to it, you just kept talking about, dude, Royler's in my division. I might fight Royler. I might have to fight Royler. I mean, all the time while you're training, Royler. Yeah. That name kept coming up over and over and over and over and over. So when it did happen, and then boom, and you won, much like, when you were throwing up on Saturday night after the event is over, there's this gigantic dump and release.
So after all that, I went outside the tent. And I have the Tough Med, they're my sponsors. They have this film crew following me for this documentary they're putting together. And they're following me. I just needed a place to throw up. I ran out of the place, got on my knees, and was just throwing up. And then Renato Magno comes from behind and pours water on me. Jean-Jacques, everyone's following me. I thought it was funny because I actually thought, anyways, I'm throwing up, and then I hear this voice behind me that said, it's good you say that about my family. And I wipe the throw up from my mouth. I look behind me, and it's Royce Gracie. And when someone says that to you, that could be followed with a hug or a shake. It's good that you said that about my family.
Right.
We're good now.
Right.
What's next? Is it going to be a pound, a hand, or it could be something else? Because you were always talking shit on my family before. And I'm like, what? I never...
So that's what he said.
Yeah. He said it was like the craziest backhanded compliment ever. He said, "It's good that you said that about my family." And I turn around, I'm like, wow, Hoist Gracie, man. That's Hoist Gracie. That's like Mike Tyson. You know, that's
This is the first time you're meeting him?
First time ever talking to him, I think. But I've seen him in different places, and we've been in the same events and stuff. And he goes, "It's good that you said that about my family because you used to talk shit on my family." And I said, "I never talked shit on your family. In my first book, I thanked all of you, including you." And I'm like kind of pointing at him. I'm like, Hoyler, Helio. I'm telling him, whatever someone told you about me, they're lying. I've never said it. Well, only a retard would talk shit about the Gracies that's in the jiu-jitsu business. You're in the jiu-jitsu business and you have no respect for the Gracies and what they've done. You know, just physically.
So what did he say then?
Don't put your finger at me. And then he got on my face like he wanted to kick my ass. And Jean-Jacques had to get between us to like stop him from like getting in my face. Because he thought, now I'm disrespecting him because I'm like kind of pointing at him. You know, he thought I was, but look what he said. This is the craziest thing of all. Look what he said. Let me just quote him. Dude, I don't know what fight he was watching.
I saw what he said. I'll paraphrase if you want.
Wait, no, it's right here. I got it right here. He said, "I wanted to talk to him for years, but never had the chance to meet him," Hoist told MMA Fighting. "I met him after the fight, and he was there throwing up. Hoyler dominated him so much. He did so much strength, but he threw up after the fight." Right? How crazy. I told him that I liked what he said after the fight, but didn't like the fact that he was always talking trash about Hoyler and my family. He stood up and started yelling. So I also raised the tone of my voice and told him I didn't like it. He said he always gave my family credit, but I know it's not true. He said he always gave my family credit, but I know it's not true. He always talks trash about my family. Enough with this shit. He said he never talked bad about my family and he always gave us credit. He kept raising the tone of his voice. I told him to shut up. So Jean-Jacques Machado came in and we didn't need this and asked Bravo to leave. Wow. And then he goes, Gracie said he would not compete against Bravo in a grappling match, but seemed open to an MMA fight. Can we slap each other? Can we beat each other up? Or can we beat each other? Gracie replied to laugh when asked if he'd accept a fight at Metamoris. I'm a Vale Tudo fighter. I'm not to score points of fight with time limit. Let's fight with no time limit with punches allowed. I'm a Vale Tudo fighter. I don't compete in grappling tournaments.
He's only competed grappling-wise. See that one Waleed Ismail fight, right?
Yeah, when Waleed strangled him.
Yeah, Waleed put him to sleep. That was after the UFC.
Yeah. So what do you, I mean, after all that stuff I read you that was in my book, and then you hear, like, someone's lying
to him, most likely. Yeah. I mean, you know, people talk shit, and people want to be friends with him, so they probably talk shit to him. He's never talked to you before, so he's never heard you say it. You definitely haven't said it in print anywhere. You definitely's never said it in video, because I know you haven't said it. You were always remarkably composed about that, you know. You were always remarkably composed. The worst you ever did was ask to do it again. You know, that was a few years back. You asked to do it again. But you were never disrespectful about it.
Yeah, I thought most people in the late 90s, most small jiu-jitsu players in the late 90s, their dream was to go against Hoyler. He was the best. That was the pinnacle. Imagine. Not only is he the best, but he's the son of Helio Gracie. That's the prince of, you know, at 145, damn, that was the one. That was the 145 Hickson. So I got lucky enough to go against him once, and man, I have a reason to do it twice. Whether it's like to prove that it wasn't a fluke or that it was a fluke, whatever. Oh, it was lucky, whatever you want to say. But I thought, damn, I can make this happen. I have a reason to make it happen.
Do you want to keep doing this? Do you want to keep competing now?
If the money's right, but that's one thing I don't even want to get into. Like the last thing I want to do is stress about my next opponent or a trilogy with them, which I'm not. I'll be open to it. I just don't want to talk and call people out and what are you going to do with this and what are you going to do with that. I want no stress right now. That's what I want. I want to spend time with my family, spend time with my students, have fun, enjoy my life right now. I don't as soon as there's another opponent looming, now I got to study. I'm thinking about, I don't want to think about anything. I just want to have fun.
I think Matamoros has real potential, man. I really do. I think there's something they could do. I think there's something they can do if they keep putting on these matchups like this. You know, when people saw that match between you guys Saturday night, that was exciting as fuck. That was really, really exciting. Yeah. You know, and if they have more matches like that, more like really good, high-level, exciting matches, you get to see real good technical jiu-jitsu, I think people start to really enjoy it. And the other thing about jiu-jitsu as opposed to MMA is if it's especially no gi, I see no reason why that can't eventually be on television. Yeah. You know, when I look at like watch a Marcelo Garcia match or watch when Jacare was fighting in Abu Dhabi or any of the really high level guys that compete in Abu Dhabi, they're fucking murderers. Vinny Magalhaes, these guys are exciting to watch, man. They pull off wild techniques. Kron Gracie pulls off, I mean, it's fun to watch him strangle people.
Especially submission only.
Fuck
and,
yeah.
You know Master Vic Davila, the Spanish Joe Rogan.
I love that dude.
Me and him are actually... Our first show is June 1st.
You're going to put on a grappling show?
It's going to be on Spanish TV. It's done.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's called Eddie Bravo Invitational, and it's going to be two 16-man submission-only tournaments, 145 same-day weigh-in, 170 same-day weigh-in. And since it's for Spanish television, we're going to focus on white people, too, and black people. But the spotlight's going to be on the Latin fighters. And the two Latin fighters, the one that's already in is Gio Martinez. He's one of my black belts. Amazing. He's a breakdancer who's just killing people. Yeah, he's going to do the 145. He's going to be the feature star, and he speaks Spanish and all that. And his brother, Richie Boogeyman Martinez, who's a brown
also awesome.
Awesome. He's a brown belt of mine. He's doing MMA. He's ferocious. Talk about Spartan. Both those guys are true Spartans. They
both have crazy dexterity too.
Yes, they're super flexible breakdancers, amazing at jiu-jitsu, and they're tearing it up right now. And he's going to be the feature at the 170. It's going to be at the Florentine Gardens Sunday, June 1st. And
where's the Florentine Gardens?
It's in Hollywood. It's in Hollywood. Yeah.
Sunday, June 1st?
Sunday, June 1st in Hollywood. We're taping it for TV. So it's but we're going to, obviously we want to pack the place too. And afterwards, as soon as we finish taping those two 60-man brackets, we're going to have 10th Planet anniversary party there too. It's a giant club. It's awesome. It's a big venue. So
I'm home,
and we have that would be awesome. And we have like schools competing against each other. Like we got Cobrina's best guy. They say they're gonna that they're going to give us their best guy. They haven't confirmed anybody yet, but they've all agreed that they're gonna send their best guy. Fabrizio Verdum's school, his best guy. Javi Vasquez, his best guy. Cobrina, the Mendez brothers. All we want the best guys. Submission only, 16-man tournament with overtime rounds.
Now let me ask you this. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What happens in a situation like these? Everyone's going for submission only. But there's no submission, so it's a draw. And fights that just clearly aren't draws. Yeah. Like, what do you do?
You can do two things. You can, and Gracie Nationals and Gracie Worlds, if you're in a 16-man bracket, if you're both disqualified. So the brackets end up being different. After every qualifier or the first bracket, you see who makes it. There's going to be some guys that both got eliminated, so you have to restructure it. It's a different, but you can do it, and it works great.
So if you get to a draw, both guys are eliminated.
Both guys. If it's the finals, it's no time limit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Gracie Nationals and Gracie Worlds, those are the most that's the hardest tournament to win. The hardest tournament. All those, all those
great ideas.
Yeah, it's all about submission. But EBI, which is what we're calling Eddie Bravo Invitational, we're gonna have EBI women, EBI kids, EBI. Grand Prix.
So who organized the Gracie Nationals? Is that Rose?
Rose Gracie, yeah.
So and Gracie figured that out? That's a brilliant way of handling it. That's
those are the best tournaments. And this year, Gracie Worlds is going to be in Las Vegas at the Cox Pavilion. It's blowing up, dude. Submission only is taking over. I mean, if you're a jiu-jitsu...
When is it?
Gracie Worlds. Ooh, it's like a September 21st or something. Damn it. Go to GracieTournaments.com, GracieTournaments.com. It's sometime in December. I think it's the 20th and the 21st of December. I'm pretty sure, or September, I'm sorry, of September in Vegas, Gracie Worlds, submission only worlds, dude. Submission only worlds, you know. So we're doing the same thing though, but we're not doing it. It's an invitational. We're gonna pick 16 guys, and 16 guys on one side, 16 guys on the other side. Also, the other 10 Planet representative at 170 is gonna be Nathan Orchard, who's one of my assassins. He's a white guy, but you know we're accepting white guys too. He's gonna be at 170 too. So we're taking advantage of Victor's connections in the Spanish TV market, which are with Jorge's producing this as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Jorge's involved. So,
I love Jorge.
Yeah, man. So we're doing it, man. And at
awesome.
first we wanted to do it and do this and give $100,000 to the winner just to ensure if there's a $100,000 prize and those guys, what do we got to do to make sure these matches are as exciting as possible? You got to have some serious cash incentives. So that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to do the first one. We were planning on doing this. We had some investors. We had a few of them. It's very hard for people to invest on a first show. But so we decided to do the first one, no money. We're just going to do it for TV and just to get it going. And then hopefully we attract sponsors. But ultimately, it's for TV, to make it work for TV, to ensure that guys don't stall, that there's no reason to stall. You have to have incentives, all these different incentives that there's no reason for you to slow down. Slowing down is not helping you financially. The training is going to be different for these kind of tournaments. Instead of training for just get really heavy on the passing and the sweep and points tournaments, all you do is train sweeps and passes. That's it. Submissions, that's extra. You're wasting your time. Just you want to win a tournament, spend all your time sweeping and passing. That's how you win tournaments.
Because you want points.
Yeah, because that's how you win. But if it's submission-only tournament, you still work on your sweep and passing, but you got to be heavy on the submission setups because that's how you're going to close the deal. That's how you're going to make your money. So that's the plan. June 1st, contact Master Vic at EddieBravoInvitational.com. If you think you're a badass. We want the best possible competitors, the best.
Well, we'll pump it up before you actually hold the event when it's about to happen. Cool. We'll have you in here again. What was I going to ask? So this is what I'm going to. When you come off something like Metamoris, huge success, right? I mean, everybody was talking about all over the mixed martial arts world, the jiu-jitsu world. It really made a big splash. Why not do another event on the internet? Why not do your own event on the internet?
Exactly.
Why fuck around with a television show?
Exactly. Because Metamoris, for pay-per-view numbers, everyone knows what good pay-per-view numbers are for the UFC and what bad numbers. And the official numbers come out and go, oh shit, UFC 3 had 500 pay-per-views or whatever, and 500,000. For jiu-jitsu, pay-per-view isn't huge. Jiu-jitsu is like underground. So if you get like 5,000 pay-per-views on internet, that's pretty good. So the biggest show Metamoris did was 9,000 pay-per-views. And that was pretty, I think it was the first one where Haja Gracie fought Bushesha. This one, with all the promotion you did and the hype and all this shit, I'm thinking if they did 9K before, there are at least 20. It could be even crazier than that. This one could be 50. I don't know, but you think about at least 20, right?
When did they know?
I don't know.
Did they tell you?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they tell you. I don't know how it gets out.
Well, my thought on it was that if I like RFA, which puts on some great fights, RFA, there's always some good matchups. You never hear about it. Like an event goes by and, you have to search the underground to find results. It's not on the front page. But if you go to mixedmartialarts.com, boom, mixedmartialarts.com, you hit news. The very first picture is Bravo dominates Gracie and Metamoris 3. And it's your picture doing this. That never happens in a grappling match. A grappling-only match is the #1 thing on mixedmartialarts.com.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Ariel Helwani had me on, and he's all about MMA, doesn't even like jiu-jitsu. And he was saying, I don't even like watching jiu-jitsu. I don't like it. But he said he was thoroughly entertained enough to want me on the show, so I just did his earlier.
Why doesn't he like jiu-jitsu?
Some guys just like MMA. And
well, he doesn't train.
If a good pay-per-view number for jiu-jitsu is 9,000, but for the UFC, that'd be disastrous. There's a large percentage of the UFC fan base that is not into jiu-jitsu.
It would be interesting if it got to a point where guys would not have to do MMA to make real money. You know, like there's a lot of guys, like Jake Shields, a perfect example, has an amazing record in MMA. But a lot of people don't know Jake Shields, fucking tremendous grappler. I mean, a tremendous grappler.
Yeah.
There's a video, and this is obviously early in John Fitch's career. You know, John Fitch is much better now. But there's a video of Jake Shields competing in a tournament, a jiu-jitsu tournament with John Fitch. And he fucking sweeps him, takes his back, chokes him, and you're like, wow. Like the way he does it, hits the butterfly, sweeps him. It's like fucking Jake Shields' jiu-jitsu is solid as fuck, man. I would love to see a guy like that. Like, here it is right here. I mean, he doesn't even necessarily have to compete in MMA. Because the thing about a Jake Shields, like Jake Shields is, I mean, he's only lost 3 times in the past fucking 10 years. One of them was a knockout to Ellenberger right after his dad died. The other one's a loss to GSP. And then the most recent one, he got dominated by Hector Lombard. And you see him like compete with a guy like Hector Lombard, especially in MMA, and you're like, my God, like unless he catches that guy in a submission, look at that beautiful sweep. He was working the guillotine and he hit that butterfly sweep, but unless he catches a guy in a submission, unless he can get a hold of a guy, he's gonna have a real hard time beating a guy like Hector Lombard. Like Lombard moves so fucking fast, man.
Yeah, the way to make it work for TV for all those millions and millions of UFC fans that are bored by jiu-jitsu. They're obviously that's why there's such a big difference in numbers. You got to get those fans. You got to make jiu-jitsu entertaining enough for them. They like the UFC. They will like submission only jiu-jitsu. No gi. You can't have the gi. The UFC fan base is not, even though it's beautiful, all the Berimbolo stuff and tug of war on the pants, when they're playing tug of war on the pants, that's a beautiful, complex, sophisticated, amazing technique. But the people, it's not good for TV.
Right.
For TV, it's just not good, man. As a TV producer, they'd go, no.
Well, Jean-Jacques even said it. He's like, you know, hey, man, I love jiu-jitsu, and this shit puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, if it's going to be for TV, if someone said, we're going to give you 1 season, and, you know, a TV producer or a network head that doesn't give a shit about tradition, about jiu-jitsu, they just want fucking ratings. For sure, I would say we're not going to have anything that can be described by using the word hold. If there's any kind of hold in anything, we don't want any of the grabbing and yanking. Got to get rid of the gi. It can't be a point system. Because think about this. There's still a small percentage of the people out there that prefer points over submission only, which is crazy. Now, you have 2 matches, right? You have 2 matches. They're both matches have $1 million purse for the winner. Whoever wins gets $1 million. One is a points match, one is a submission only match. Both of those matches, there's a minute left. In the points match, the guy on top, he just passed the guard. He's up 3-0, and there's a minute left. If you were his coach, the guy on top, there's $1 million on the line. Would you tell him to go for a submission, or would you tell him to hold?
Tell him to hold.
Fuck yeah. I'd be screaming, hold, motherfucker. Especially if you were the coach and you got 15% of that shit. You already spent that shit.
Right.
You already promised your wife a new fucking Toyota. That was your shit. You would say, hold, there's $1 million at the line. Oh, don't do a submission would be the last thing on your mind.
Right.
On his mind.
Right.
It would be the dumbest. But if it's a submission-only match, that end of the match would look way different. They would both be going nuts for that $1 million. It would look better for TV.
It'd be more exciting.
Yeah,
and it would be ultimately better for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, so submission only is better for jiu-jitsu. It's better for TV. You can't have tug of war of the pants. It's a beautiful thing, but it's going to be a niche thing. It's always going to be underground. That will never be mainstream.
What about a standard outfit? Like, you think that, you know, I know you like gi pants, but what about if it was only tights only?
I think you should do what Abu Dhabi does. ADCC, they figured it out. You let them wear whatever they want. They could wear a gi if they want. But when you're allowed to wear whatever you want, if you could love the gi all you want and worship the gi, but you're not going to wear it. If you're allowed to, you're not going to give your opponent something to grab onto. In pride, they would have allowed anybody to wear a
Right.
gi. But none of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts wore their gi. None of them. They were allowed to. They didn't want anybody to grab them. So what you do is, no, you let them wear whatever they want. Some people like wearing tight booty shorts. Some people like wearing board shorts. Some people like wearing tight spandex shorts to go to the knees. Some guys like short rash guards. Some guys like long rash guards. Some guys compete in Abu Dhabi and they don't wear any rash guards.
Well, here's the deal, though, about Abu Dhabi. If you're allowed to wear a gi, are you allowed to grab the gi?
Apparently,
No
of
shit.
course.
But you can't grab pants. Like if a
No.
guy's wearing shorts, you can't grab shorts.
No, you can't wear shorts, but it's a weird thing, man, because if I wore gi pants and he was allowed to grab them, but whatever, it's all good. I like all that controversy at the end. I like that. The gi, that making me wear the gi backfired on him, but it also saved him because it really, like all those electric chairs, that was all those gi pants, man. That gi pants they were huge. He never got close of getting out of my lockdown. He never even almost went to quarter guard. That shit was locked in, and the pants were a big deal, a big part of it.
That's interesting. It's interesting to think, how much different would the game be if you had to wear tights?
Yeah, tights, it would still be hard for him to pull out his leg. And even if I just wore board shorts and knee sleeves, that would be good enough,
Which is what you did in the first fight.
Yeah, the ankle sleeves are huge too. You put pants, ankle sleeves, or if you don't wear pants, you could just wear knee sleeves. That's what I did in the first one. That's why I had the knee sleeves. Just, you don't want, somewhere, I think in everyone's mind, they think that it's not real grappling if it ain't all greasy. It's got to be greasy to be real. And why are you trying to stop all the grease? And you're supposed to swap sweat with your opponent. It's like if you wear pants, like, oh, you're cheating. Don't you want to be all slippery with another man? It doesn't make any sense.
But don't the pants? You said the pants aid you in a big way.
But he could grab him too. So he had an advantage that he can grab him, and it saved his ass at the end. And I had an advantage where, with my personal game, my lockdown game, it helps it.
I wonder if listening to all this, if they did decide to do a third one, if he would say, you got to wear shorts.
Dude, if I did a third one, dude, the first rule is I get to wear whatever the fuck I want to wear. That's going to be rule number one. I get to wear whatever the fuck I want to wear. So that's the first clause.
It seems like promoted correctly, there's obviously a market for this now. And like I said, I committed to helping. I definitely want to help. I think that something like this is something that I get behind.
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to do, dude? I'm not trying to make money with EBI. I'm trying to create the best shit. Just like you're trying to create with On It. You're trying to do the best shit. There's not like, ooh, there's a lot of money right here if I create a jiu-jitsu show. I'm trying to create the best jiu-jitsu show. So I want everyone in the jiu-jitsu community to pitch in and help me out, help us out, help out Metamoris. I'm starting EBI, but I still love Metamoris. And even though I'm 100%, I'm not going to be in M4. I still want to go.
You say 100%. I mean? Well, when is M4?
I don't know, but that ain't happening.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
Taking some time off.
I'm for sure going to take time off. I don't even.
But you think you're going to do your own shit from here on out?
I mean, if you got 20K, we saw what could happen with M3, Metamoris 3. We saw the potential. Would you say 20? If they said 20K pay-per-view, that's
a lot. I mean, we're just guessing though.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it would be.
That's a lot of money.
That seems like a lot of people to buy jiu-jitsu. I don't know though.
Yeah, so
I'll ask.
I don't want to really think about it too much. But when I do decide to sit down and talk numbers, I mean, I want to do what's best for the security of my family. That's, if I'm going to get back into training camp, I'm going, and start seeing my son less and my wife less, and the stress comes back, and I'm training all day and going through all that and swimming and hating the swimming and the torture. If I'm going to go through that, I want what's coming to me. That's it. I just want what's fair.
Right.
I don't want to be a dick about it, but I'm not going to get taken advantage of. So
right, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
my man knows his value.
Yeah,
things have changed.
I just want to enjoy life now. And the thing that feels the best about this is, like, everybody who's gotten into arguments with people about the legitimacy of the system and the style. the 10th Planet style, all the arguments that everyone's got into with people and the haters and all that stuff, I think about how vindicated they feel and how I gave them a little boom, like it helped them personally in their argument. Now when they argue with those same guys, you're like the little I gave him, like I put in a little that feels really, really good. That feels really good.
Helped him with a little dig.
Yeah, man. The argument, and again, all I ever try to do is make jiu-jitsu better. And the people that are resisting me and there's so many people on the internet who are on a quest who are jiu-jitsu freaks, who are on a quest to shut me down, and they hope the rubber guard fails and the system fails and it's a fraud, and they're on a mission, and they're generally on on the Atama forum. I do frequent the Atama forum. It's the gi forum, probably the biggest gi forum in the world on mixedmartialarts.com. If you go on the Atama forum, and I would say 75% of the people on there, they are generally not fans of mine. So I'm like in there, like swimming with the sharks all the time, man. I'll respond to shit and I read their shit, and there's guys that just can't wait for something to happen bad at 10th Planet and jump on it.
That's always the case. That's always the case.
Yeah.
There's always going to be haters out there. That shit is such a waste of energy.
But the crazy thing is, I know all these guys and their fake screen names and who knows what they look like, and I know who they are. It's like the same guys. And after the fight, I went to my hotel, took a shower, and I'm just like sitting there for like 5 minutes, and I looked on the Underground, and I couldn't believe the headline. It was like a 1-2 punch, man. That was killed me. First, I looked at the headline, and it said, "Bravo dominates Gracie and Metamoris." I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like the ultimate review ever, front page of my. That's like my home base, man. The Underground, Kirik. I fucking love Kirik, man. And Chris, man, it was crazy. And then I didn't even get on the Underground. I went to the Atama forum, and I wanted to see what they said. And man, Brett Natel, Check Your Oil, that's his screen name. He's always on there. He's like he keeps the peace. He's like the go-between, because he also trains at Gracie Baja. He's like the peacemaker, because he won't let anybody trash 10th Planet, because he's one of my black belts, but he's also training in the gi too. He wants to get his gi black belt, so he's the enforcer there. So he starts a thread, "Fluke my ass." Said, "Fluke my ass." That was the thread. So I got on, dude, and all them dudes that fucking couldn't stand me. Usually when something good happens to 10th Planet, they just stay off the thread and they're silent, and they don't even want to bump the thread up. They just want to let it go. Just let it go, let it go. Let that video go. Nice little highlight reel of us dominating like the Gracie Nationals. They let that go. No response. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Because they know if they hate, it's going to backfire, because now more people are going to say it. So, but this one, they all responded. They gave it up. And it was so crazy, dude. I'm sitting there. I'll fucking be looking at like fucking tears rolling down my fucking face from that shit. Like, that is the best compliment ever when guys that were on a mission, when guys that were on a mission every day to follow me around and fucking just shank me on the side. And to have those guys admit they were wrong, man, I don't know, man. There was the combination, that front page, and then it was incredible.
Most people don't want to be haters,
and
they become haters, and then it sort of gets away from them. They almost can't help it. Just gets out of control.
Joey.
Joey Diaz call?
Yeah, but damn it.
You got AT&T, bitch. That shit ain't gonna work in here.
Yeah, he hung up. Shit.
AT&T doesn't work in here.
Yeah. But call him. Call Joey really quick. I think he knows I'm on the podcast. He probably wants to say something.
He's probably high as fuck right now.
Joe Rogan. What is he going to say? Predict what he would say.
Eddie Bravo, I told you, cocksucker. Electric chair all day. Let's see.
You have reached the voicemail.
Oh.
Yeah, something might have happened. He might have got pulled into a meeting. Joey Diaz is blowing the fuck up.
Oh, dude.
He's selling out everywhere. He's constantly getting brought in for meetings, and fucking people want him to do movies, and it's incredible. It's incredible seeing him.
The voicemail box of...
Dude.
Yeah, he's
okay.
Might have went over the 405 or something.
This is it.
I have to ask you this: Did the Indian come out the after party?
No, I didn't feel it.
Really?
I was like, nah.
Probably so tired, right?
Yeah. No, I just didn't feel it. Joey. Oh, it's ringing. Check this out.
You think it's gonna work?
Yeah. Watch.
I'm not sure if he's gonna answer. There he
Damn,
is.
it feels good to be a gangster.
You're on the radio. tell him you're live.
You're live on the podcast.
I'm telling you right now, dog. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. It must be beautiful to be Eddie Bravo. 2014. You got half, even Fogo the Child's flags at half fucking mast. They closed the fucking doors over there at Fogo the Child. That's how strong you are.
Close the doors.
Flags at half mast.
It's over. That's all I got to say. I love you, cocksuckers.
I love you, man.
We love you too, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Dude, he came in and just dropped a bomb right there.
He's the greatest. Joey Diaz is the greatest. So, what's next on the music front? I mean, this is a hilarious thing. You know, you're a jiu-jitsu master, but your music is just as important to you as your jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I believe just as good.
What's going on with the music? What are you doing
Dude,
these
I
days?
just dropped. Dude, we just dropped. Me and Danny Loner, X 9 Inch Nails, X Perfect Circle. We drop, dude, and I think it's the best work I've ever done.
Let's play it. Can we play
Yeah,
it?
just go to soundcloud.com/Eddie-Bravo, dude. You're gonna trip out what we did to this, dude.
Okay, well let's end it with that. We'll end it with that. Listen, 10thplanetjujitsu.com, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. 10th Planet JJ.
10thplanetjj.com. I got all that shit.
What is headquarters going to be like tonight?
Dude, I don't know, man.
Oh my God.
I
wish I was training again.
Everything I did in that match. That's old school shit that I always do. It's all on Mastering the System. It's all on my website. It's only $5 right now. You could learn.
Are they filming
it
when
all.
you come to class tonight?
I don't know.
You better get them to film when you come to class tonight. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is the class after that. That place is going to be mobbed, bro. That's going to be fucking bananas. I might even come down, man. I'm still sore as fuck, though. I'm getting another Regenikine on my back next week. My neck is 100% now. What is that? Ricky Rocket?
Hold on. Let's see.
Tell him he's on. Make sure he knows he's live.
Hey, Ricky, you're live on Joe Rogan's podcast, so don't say any crazy shit.
One thing I do want to say is the reason I called is I was training this morning over at Hanat, and I heard about all this stuff with boys, and I don't understand. I'm so upset about it. I saw you being nothing but a freaking class act the other night.
Thank you, man. Someone must have lied to him. That's all. Someone's been lying to him, and we need to get to the bottom of that.
Man, I've never heard you say anything but cool stuff about Floyd. Me and you used to talk about him back in the day, about how amazing it was that he came to the United States and did what he did and influenced so many people, changed the course of martial arts. We associated him with Bruce Lee. You know?
Yeah, those are facts. I mean,
someone lied to him. It's the only thing that makes sense. Someone had to lie to him.
Yeah, man, I can't believe. I wish I would have been able to stay. I had to get home to my kids, but if I would have been there, man, God, you know? Anything I can do on my end, I have no idea what my influence would do. Probably nothing, but if it is, you just ask me, I'll do it. You know?
Thank you, man. How about playing drums on one of my tracks? How about that? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll help this.
But beautiful.
But no, stop with the twirling of the sticks, please. Can you play one song? Can you play one of my songs without twirling any goddamn sticks?
I don't know.
Hey, but you know what, Ricky, I swear to God, man, one of my good friends is Danny Loner from 9 Inch Nails. He knows. I mean, he's deep, and I don't know how many times I've always stuck up for Ricky Rocket. I go, dude, the shit you do as a showman with the twirling of the sticks and all that shit, that's amazing, man. I can't do any of that shit. That's talent. Some people think, oh, it's all tricks and smokes and mirrors, you know, but I really, really respect your showmanship and your drumming. I think it's fucking amazing, man. Like Cirque du Soleil drumming, so I always had your back. I always had your back. You know that.
It's how I keep time.
Thank you, Ricky.
Take it easy, Ricky.
No problem at all. I had no idea you were on. Tell Joe hey, by the way.
Okay, he's hearing you. He hears everything.
I hear you. You just can't hear me.
Hey, Joe, it was nice. Dude, it was nice seeing you the other night.
Great seeing you too, man.
Yeah, and you look like you could kick some ass yourself.
That's what he was asking me. He was asking, "This dude, how good is Joe Rogan? He looks like a fucking destroyer. I bet he can destroy people." I'm like, have you seen him kick the fucking bag on video? It doesn't have like 10 million views or something.
I don't think it even has a million. Take care, Ricky.
Dude, if he's kicking ass in person, he can also kick ass verbally too. I mean, he's got verbal jiu-jitsu.
That's true, man. We're gonna let you go, Ricky. We gotta go.
Take care, man.
Thank you, man.
All right.
This is a beautiful podcast, and this is Ricky Rocket, by the way, is a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well. He's a bad motherfucker. Ricky Rocket from Poison is legit.
Yeah.
Legit black belt.
And he was doing C-Lot and all that shit too, the Danny and Asano system. He's a legit martial artist.
His whole life, always has been. And a great guy. Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, and he's competed as a black
guy.
belt. He did the Worlds or Pan Am's, a big IBJJF tournament as a black belt. He competed. There's...
Yeah, no, he's totally legit. And like I said, a great guy, just a cool guy. Let's just wrap it up with our sponsors and play that song and get the fuck out of here. This is a beautiful podcast.
Beautiful, man.
This podcast is the most people ever on speakerphone, ever. I don't think we've ever had that many. Three different people on speakerphone? That's craziness.
It's crazy, man.
But it was beautiful. Congratulations, brother. It was an honor to be there.
Dude,
I got choked up.
When people were telling me how nuts you were going, that gave me the chills. I go, dude, Joe was losing his mind. And I was just like, fuck, man. Just knowing that.
We know how Brian Callen can't shut the fuck up. He can never shut the fuck up. And by the time we got to Fogo de Chao, I still wasn't breathing right.
Wow.
Like my hands were shaking, my heart was beating, and Brian said blah 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 blah. And then I said this and this, and I was like, I fuck guys, he's like doing all the shit, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know what you just said. For the last half an hour, I haven't listened to a fucking word because he was, Brian Callen. When how like we've talked about this before, it's like when you're not thinking about nothing, your background defaults to jiu-jitsu. You start thinking about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When you're sitting around, you start going over moves. When you got 10 minutes before you have to be somewhere and you're just sitting there and there's nothing going on, you start thinking, man, I got to figure out a better counter to start going over that. That's default. For Brian Callen, when you stop talking, he defaults to gay jokes. He defaults to him talking about fucking guys. And I told him, look, I fuck guys. And he's like, dude, it's all... And I remember looking over in the middle of him doing his shtick. And I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you just said. I literally haven't even heard you. All I've been doing is trying to catch my breath. I almost had a heart attack, dude. I wrote that on Instagram, and it sounds like, something somebody would say. But, god damn, my heart was pounding. It was crazy. I just wanted you to catch him, man.
Dude.
When you went to the truck, when you rolled that left shoulder roll, the twister roll, which is my favorite move,
but
it was
jiu-jitsu,
from the other side,
half guard. It was inverted. It's not.
But that left roll that you do, that left roll. When I knew you were going there, I was hoping you were going to hit the twister. I was hoping you were going to adjust and go for the twister.
Yeah, most people didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like Jeff Glover in the commentaries, like I like to think of myself as a guy who's well versed in jiu-jitsu, and I don't even know what's going on here. It was crazy, man.
That's why it's so hard to defend. That was Renato Magno was telling you don't know Eddie game. You just know Eddie game, you're gonna get tapped. You don't know Eddie's game, you're gonna get tapped. It's funny, but Hoyler, to his credit, would not tap. He's a bad motherfucker. You got to give him that, man. Yeah. That guy's got heart. Because I know there's a photo of us online, the high time shoot where you got me the vaporizer. Just that picture, like that's a real agony look on my face. I'm like, and you're not even pulling on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine the way you were yanking it with two hands, and Hoyler just let it go. He just let it get all chewed up.
Yeah, I'd never gone that deep with a vaporizer ever. People tap right the fuck away. That's the worst one.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He hung in there, man. So
it's Hoyler Gracie. You didn't get to be Hoyler Gracie from tapping easy.
Absolutely, man.
All right, man. Thanks to naturebox.com. Go to naturebox.com and naturebox.com/Rogan and get 50% off your first box. Thanks also to Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com, enter the code word Joe.
There's the picture.
And get 10%. Yeah, that is fucking
That's
painful.
it right there.
That's not me clowning around. That look on my face there is like, that's real agony. Ouchie wawa. That sucks. Squarespace.com, Squarespace.com, and enter the code word Joe. Squarespace, one of our favorite sponsors, and Onnit.com. That's ONNIT. Use the code word Rogan and save 10% off any and all supplements. If you want to learn jiu-jitsu, my friend, the 10th Planet way, go to 10thplanetjj.com or, holler at Eddie on Twitter. You could get Eddie Bravo at Eddie Bravo on Twitter, and you'll find out if he's coming to your town for seminars. He does a lot of seminars. He travels constantly. You didn't travel at all for this 2-month camp.
The last month and a half. If you want any information on my homeschool, 10th Planet headquarters, which is downtown LA, email me at eddie@10thplanetjj.com. I'll give you the schedule and prices, and I'll let you know how we do shit. We got a warm-up curriculum that's intense, man. So there's a lot to understand before you have to come to class now. It's different. It's a different day. Yeah.
And prepare yourself for dick pics, Eddie Bravo. You just gave out your fucking email address on the internet. How dare you?
It's all good.
Black cocks, are an ocean of them are coming your way like a goddamn tidal wave.
Oh, why'd you put that out?
Why did I put it out there? It's out there.
And the song that we're going to close with is available for free download. You could at soundcloud.com/Eddie-Bravo.
Glorious. Me, as far as me, I got 3 dates upcoming. Miami, which is this Thursday. I'm at the Jackie Gleason Theater at the Fillmore with Tony Hinchcliffe. Looking forward to that. And then 4/18, I'm in Orlando with Joey motherfucking Diaz. And then 4/25, April 25th, I'm in Baltimore again with Joey Diaz. We're going to have some fucking fun.
April 12th, I'm at 10th Planet Beaumont, Texas with Brian Debs. That's April 12th. And the first weekend in May, there's a Midwest training camp at 10th Planet Omaha. Go to the Nibiru Forum for all the info. That's the forum that's on 10thplanetjj.com. So that Midwest training camp, we're going to have Gio and Boogie teaching there, John Botello, Brian McCaffrey, and me. It's going to be just a wild weekend of just mad jiu-jitsu.
Glorious, glorious. All right, JoeRogan.net for details and tickets, and all the podcasts are available there as well. Thanks to everybody that we ran into this weekend. I tried to take pictures with as many people as I could at Metamoris, but it got fucking crazy. But thank you for all the love, and thanks for all the love Sunday night too at the Comedy and Magic Club. We'll be back tomorrow. We got a lot of podcasts this week, a lot of cool shit, and much love, everybody. Now, dropped Eddie Bravo's new track, the new remix.
Smoke Serpent is the name of the band.
Boom.
Just listen to 15 seconds.
No, just play it, man. Crank it.
Coming with it from the start to the finish. Strictly business when I bring it to your attention. This honorable mention, piss all in your invention. Mrs. Can't afford to mention. This is only my suggestion. My emergence commencing psychometabolic message for the politics, charlatans, evil inside the hearts of many people beneath my penances. Ego attacking common sense, regal and posture. Most the culprit and posture, I spot ya. Funny Nirvana never treated me proper. Never enough, nada to conquer my trauma. Little shop of horrors and calamities. Stop the insanity, battling over control. Ballad of tragedy show, balancing out with the cold. Watch the story unfolds, manifesting with my destiny soul. Meant to expose, set to explode at any moment. Maintaining focus, holding on cause I know I get dropped, but I'm right back there. I'm gonna fight this shit, I'm gonna take this. I get dropped, but I'm right back there. I've been through worse, I can handle this. I get dropped, it's what I will always do. I get dropped, I got my second wind, I'm gonna rise up and pump my fist. do it. I get dropped, but I'm right back in. I'm gonna fight this shit, I'm gonna take this risk. I get dropped, but I'm right back in. I've been through worse, I can handle this. I get dropped, it's what I always do. I get dropped, I got my second wind, I'm gonna rise up and pump my fist. It was the pain that brought the way I sang this song, that's why I last this long. It was the pain that brought the way I sang this song, that's why I sang this song. It's for the pain I brought, this is the fate I saw. It was the pain that brought the way I sang this song, that's why I last this long. It was the pain that brought the way I sang this song, that's why I sang this song. It's for the pain I brought, this is the fate I sought. I get dropped, but I'm right back in. I'm gonna fight this shit, I'm gonna take this risk. I get dropped, but I'm right back in. I've been through worse, I can handle this. I